is Thursday, January 8th, and first up is Service Committee.
Sure, I'm ready. Service Committee called order at 6 p.m. Members present, myself, Chris Mauritz, Chair, Cody Scott, Terry Spiegel, Robert Taylor. We've got material bids coming up first. That's something we do every year. And so Tom can go out and get the materials that he needs, buy it, stock it, everything else. I believe we have to pass that on to
Council.
the finance first and then council?
Nope.
Just council? Okay. Well, we need to pass it on to council, then have a motion to pass it on to council?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Chris, you need to make a motion requesting.
Okay.
Legislation.
Make a motion requesting legislation for Tommy to be able to go out for
Yes.
material bids as an emergency.
No, don't need to be emergency, does it?
It does need, yes.
I didn't think it was due till March.
Well, yeah, it's kind of, that's the latest we like to get.
Okay, we can do it as emergency. That's
Okay.
fine. I'll make it as an emergency.
I'll second.
Okay, first by Terry Spiegel, second by Cody Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We have Title 900s coming up next, guys. Has everybody had a chance to read through these yet thoroughly and maybe even compare them to what ordinances are on the books now for those particular ones that we do want to change, or does the administration want to change? Anybody have any questions on any of them? Have you been able to look through them enough? I know Cody, I don't know if you've had enough time to look at them or not, or Robert, or you, because
I've looked at them. I focused mainly, I skimmed through all of it. I focused mainly on 913.12.
Right.
And the big bold print at the beginning is an issue for me. Right of entry. That doesn't even sound right from the get-go. I think maybe request to enter is better, because, and here's my perspective on this. The water department is not just a government entity. It's a business. We are providing this service to customers outside of the city. So at what point do you, as a water department, have jurisdiction to just enter someone's house? Now, if you have a customer agreement that they've signed before you've ever sold them this product, and that's one thing. But it still does not give you any jurisdiction to just say, I have the right to enter your home. If you feel, as a water department, that there's a leak, an issue, fraudulent behavior, I understand we need to get in there and take a look. But there's the process is, especially with fraudulent behavior. If you enter in residence without a warrant and there's criminality taking place, any evidence you gathered is not admissible in court. You have literally just violated the Fourth Amendment. So, if you have a customer agreement or a contract, whatever you want to call it, that's fine and dandy, but we need to spell out the steps in here of how we're going to handle that. And you have, for the most part. But it's kind of, to me, it's kind of scattered. It's kind of a scatterbrained thing. I think first and foremost, you provide notification, and that can be one to several ways. You call them, you put the little door hanger on their doorknob, you send them an email, certified mail, whatever we decide to do, how you do that, but you've contacted them. And then there's got to be a time period, 24 hours, 72 hours, whatever that magical number is. They have this amount of time to respond. If they don't respond, we shut the water off, point blank. And then to get the water turned back on, that customer, because that's what we have to treat this as, they're customers. At that point, they have to meet the demands that we need. If we need to get in and inspect the meter, or we need to look at the pipes, or whatever it may be, until they meet the demands, we can't turn the water back on. That's my suggestion, because as the way this sits right now, I'm going to just go through here how many times it says right to enter. Big bold print, it starts out. Let's see, there's twice. Three times. So at least three times right there in the first paragraph, counting the bold print. I just don't think that's appropriate language. And I don't think it's the appropriate way to handle it too, because here's another question. I had this conversation with Chad Slagle today. Who in the water department is going to be willing to walk into someone's home who's not being reasonable with you and being willing to let you walk into their home? I don't know if anybody's noticed, but downstairs they have level 3 bullet resistant glass at the water department. That's in their home. That's in their house, in our building. What do you think? How do you think someone who's not reasonable is going to react in their own home to someone trying to come into their home? And who in the water department signed up to do that? Anybody? Has anybody in the water department signed up to be that guy?
I agree with you, but to the point, but if you feel that they've got a cross connection in their house, that's what you gotta go and check for.
I understand that.
Yeah, and you've got to go to the owner and find out.
Understand?
And you can ask them if you can go in.
Yes, sir.
You just can't walk into their house, there's no way you can do that.
I understand.
But there's nothing wrong with a person, if you think you got reasonable
Suspicion.
to go into it.
Right, I agree.
I mean, you can ask them, if they let you in, that's fine. If they don't, then you have to go through the procedures to do them.
Yes, sir, I agree.
Yeah,
And that's my issue, Terry, is it's the wording.
Yeah.
We're literally saying in big bold print that this government entity, or actually, again, it's hard for me to even describe the water department as a government entity. It's more like a business. I just don't see where they have the right. Now,
If I can speak,
yes, sir, absolutely.
I'm Jeff Dunn, the service garage foreman.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I agree with you. I think if you changed the language you said, I think it'd be fine.
Absolutely.
I'm all for it.
Thank you.
Now, the only place I've seen it in A is one time where it says the right to enter.
All right.
So I'm hoping that we got the same one.
I was gonna say.
No, how many copies you got out there?
Does yours talk about emergency and?
That's what I say, mine's got emergency in it, and we've got so much
exigency,
time.
Which is the exception to the Fourth Amendment. I just basically codified the only way you can get into someone's house without a warrant, and that's in an emergency, that's recognized.
I'm definitely not voting for that. And here's why. We just went through 4 years of government declaring emergencies, shutting down businesses, demanding people take experimental drugs.
Oh, no,
I'm
we
not-
get to decide what, the court gets to decide whether it's an accident.
Again, I'm not voting for that.
That's up to you.
I understand it is up to me. I don't like that at all.
excuse me. The one thing that would be considered an emergency on it, if a person got a water bill and they're out of town, we know they're on vacation, all of a sudden they get a big water bill and they know there's a leak in there.
Yeah. Let
Is
me
it
ask you
not?
this. Maybe Jeff can answer this. Why do we need in the home? Can't we just shut the water off?
Well, we could at that point.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The very first step the water department needs to take on any time there's any issue is notification.
That's what it says in the first
Yeah.
sentence.
Other than it says right to enter.
That's
Right.
later on, yeah.
No, I mean, big bold print, 913.
Oh, you give me the title, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Which I believe is the original title of the first one.
Okay,
This is
this is
existing
what
one that's in there now.
I'm looking at, and that's all I'm saying. If we change that, because that's such strong language, right to enter, it doesn't sit well with me, and I don't think it's gonna sit well with a lot of private property owners. If we change that language, that we do need to spell out the process very detailed, and it should be very simple. We notify you, we give you a time frame to respond. If you don't respond, step 3 is we shut your water off until you meet the demands we're asking. I guess I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, Jeff Dunn, service garage foreman.
Yes, sir.
Talking with administration today, Robert, what you're saying, we're fine with.
Okay.
So the administration and us met today, some other people in another meeting, this came up, and we're fine with changing it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, we're fine with changing
Yeah, that's fine.
the title of it. Like I said, the title, I don't know when that was actually put on the books, but it's probably been 30 years since that's been put on.
Here would be my recommendation. Change the title, change anywhere it says right to enter.
It does in that first or
It's-
second.
I read it several times, at least 3. It needs to be a request to enter. And then we need to spell out in here somewhere our exact steps. And again, my suggestion, notify you with a time frame. If you don't respond or you don't cooperate, step within that time frame. Step 3 is to shut your water off until you decide you need water again. And to get water back on, you have to cooperate with us.
Which says that in 6, or C, right?
Let me see. I've lost my place here, Chris. I'm sorry.
Been a while since I've looked at this one.
Yep. You're right. It does say that.
And then B, it talks about 24-hour
Now-
notice in B. I know in A, it also has a frame that they want to go through to get to that point.
I also don't like, and this is probably very minute and maybe not an issue, but at the very end of C there, it says be deemed evidence of the presence of improper connections. I don't necessarily like that either. I mean, because
I don't like that either.
So, because who's to say that's actual evidence and who's to say something improper is actually literally going on?
A jury.
So to say that's evidence, I'd like to see that line, that statement pulled out of there as well.
Well, as of right now, does anybody have any problems? I know it's short notice, maybe we need to look at them all. Anybody have any problems with the rest of the 900s, other than 9, 13, 12?
I don't, but then again, we can wait till these two catch up with it.
That's what I'm saying. Do we want to wait till you guys catch up with it and just
Yeah.
bring it up to 20th?
I would like to.
Or the next-
I'd like a little more time to read the
Committee
rest
meeting?
of this.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe you can sit with Brandon and figure out the kind of wording
Absolutely,
that works better for you.
absolutely.
Perfect. What are you doing tomorrow?
Well, working until about 4.
Working until about 4?
But when I get in town, I'd like to spend some time with my granddaughter. I'll be free after 7.
All right. I guess we can do Monday unless you want to. Yeah, we'll do Monday.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
All right. We'll save that till next committee meeting, give you guys more time to
Before
look
we,
at it and get Brandon time to,
before we move off the 900 series, this here, if it's, I'm not sure what I hope this is okay. I mean, I assume it is. This deals with the water department. This is just for the public. I received a letter today about galvanized lines being replaced. And if you read through it, it literally says it's your responsibility from the shut-off valve outside to your meter. I don't want anyone to misunderstand like I did. I had to have a conversation with Mr. Slagle for him to clarify this. They're not saying that you must replace that line. You can, you should. They're warning you that you might have lead. However, reading through this, the EPA, anything that they can't prove isn't a lead or galvanized pipe, they are assuming it's lead or galvanized. Now, my own personal perspective on this is it's none of the EPA's business or the city's business what my pipes are past their meter. If I want to drink water from lead pipes, that's my prerogative.
That's the EPA rule, though.
Not inside private property, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely
they're
not.
trying to make it that way.
They can try to make it all they want. Trying to make it one and making it a law are two different things, and that's not something I'm going to
I
stand
think
for.
we were all issued letters from the city asking
Yep.
what kind of pipes we have.
Yeah, they asked what kind of pipe it is. What they
Right.
can't do is force you to fix it, and that's my concern with what Tommy talked about a few months ago.
I think they're looking for health issues is what they're basically looking for.
Now, I think I think they're just looking for control. That's just my opinion. But either way, it's about control. The EPA in itself,
Oh, yeah.
it's a pain in the ass. Don't get me wrong. I understand, but they don't have the authority to make me do anything with the interior piping of my home that I live in. Now, it's different, it would be different, I think, it should be different if it's a rental property and it's an apartment complex, something like that. But this is we're talking about private residences that people live in. The EPA is not gonna come in my house and tell me to do anything inside my home with my water pipes. So it's a moot point to even grant any kind of authority past the water meter. That's just my opinion on it. You know, private property rights matter.
Thank you for clearing up that letter for us. I know I got it right before.
Oh, I
came
called
in
Chad
today.
immediately and I was pretty much telling him the same thing. I'm not replacing anything. However, another note for the citizens to understand is this also includes work that the city's gonna be forced to do, lines the city's gonna be forced to replace by the EPA, and they do have that authority
Oh, yeah.
because we are a government entity.
Unfunded mandates.
Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
What the EPA is asking for is they're asking for the line from the turnoff valve to the meter.
Right.
That's what they're concerned about.
Yeah, and that's
They're not concerned about the meter, from the meter to the faucet
And-
inside the house. They're not concerned
I understand
about
that. Here it is. Who's responsible for the maintenance, repair, replacement of that line?
The resident.
Again, okay, so it's mine, not their business.
Well,
My opinion.
That's all the EPA is asking.
No, I understand, yeah, and it's not their business. If I'm the guy paying for it and it's my home, it's none of their business.
Okay.
So now where's that language at in here? Is that language in here? Is there language in this 900 series?
For what?
For what we just talked about, that service line from
No.
the shut-off valve to the meter?
No, it just says that it's our responsibility. That's all it says in there.
It's our responsibility?
To replace that line if it's, something wrong with it.
Yeah, and citizens would also have the option to just shut their water off.
Right.
At a private residence.
This table.
Okay, moving on from this, any open projects anybody wants to talk about on our open project list?
I have not seen the open project list for service.
I know we got some coming up, but they're not ready yet.
And I'm not even
Discuss.
sure how to find it, to be honest with you, because I'm
Pretty
struggling.
sure it's on the packet, right?
In the attachment or the agenda line.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna talk some, aren't you?
Yeah, I know, I'm not sure how to get back to that on my screen here.
I knew you were gonna be here.
There it is.
I knew you had a lot to talk
There
about.
it is, okay. I still got
Sit
to learn
down,
how to
wasn't
use this.
it? Well, it's coming up next anyway for people to speak.
Is it down here at the bottom
There
of
you go.
this?
You can have this.
Okay, thank you. I apologize, for not being prepared for that.
Right, so open projects, Dylan Wyatt from McKeever and Associates, for those of you I haven't really met yet. So we're working on this Sandusky Avenue sewer separation project. I've been up here a couple times in council talking about it as we've worked through the process. So the next step of this project, we are probably 85% done with the construction plans for this project, and the next step is going to be the funding portion. So the intention is we nominated this project for the WPCLF Water Pollution Control Loan Fund, funding through Ohio EPA. It is a federal loan fund. In this case, it's a 30-year loan that would service this project. Again, I'll do a little summary of the project. So this is a box culvert project that will begin at Beale Avenue, work its way up to Kilbourne, and then turn east down Kilbourne and go over to Walnut. In the meantime, we'll be also stubbing out to all the side streets to be able to service them from a sewer separation standpoint, and then we will continue with a normal round pipe all the way up to nearly to Marion Road. Since this is large box culvert on the order of 8 foot wide by 4.5 foot tall, much of the road is going to pretty much be destroyed during construction. So this will, everywhere that the box culvert exists, from Beale Avenue all the way up to Southern, and then Kilbourne from Sandusky over to Walnut will be reconstructed as part of the project. So I believe what I need from the legislation to be able to actually apply for the loan for this project has to come out of Finance Committee, but I believe it has to pass through Service Committee with an approval prior to going to Finance Committee.
I have a question. A few months ago, months, there's a resident, owns property out there, and there's an issue with him being able to build because of his service line. He is in the crowd. Have any discussions happened between that private resident and the administration as far as how that's going to be handled with him? Because I think it's very pertinent that we do what we can.
Yeah, so
Actually, that conversation took place today
Okay.
with the administration and myself
Yes, sir.
and some other people. So we're trying to, I talked to Dylan about it today to move that on with him.
Okay.
So it's been looked into to do something there, get an agreement.
Thank you,
yeah,
sir.
So we're working on the solution. We got a pretty good solution for that. We're working on that currently with the intention, if he is able to come to the meeting, we're having that public meeting next Wednesday at
6:30.
6:30. If he's able to come to that meeting, I'll have a better drawing put together, and so we can actually talk about it in a little more
Okay.
detail then.
Now, the further part of my question is this, that any kind of agreement, hypothetically, that is made between the city and Mr. Keith, does that need to be part of any legislation we pass broadly here for this project and your loan, the loan that you're talking about and all that? Does that need to be included, or is that a side?
I would say that that's a side issue, and I
Okay.
think that that's an administrative issue as far
Okay.
as I'm concerned.
All right.
I don't think there's going to be a substantial extra cost from the city associated with it or anything like
Well, that's
that,
good
based
to
on what
hear.
we've discussed.
Thank you.
There's like 10 phases of this or more, right?
Yeah, so this is the first of, so ultimately this project is really being designed to service the portions of the east side of town that were separated during the phase 1, 2, 3A, the Southern Avenue trunk sewer. A lot of those areas were tied back into the Buffalo sewer, so they were separated, and then as a temporary measure until they could get a true outlet to a storm ditch or a river or whatever it may be, they were tied back into the Buffalo sewer. So this project is phase 1 of what will likely be a 5 or 6 phase project to work our way that direction, north and east, to eventually pick that area up and to truly separate. I believe it works out to a total of about 480 acres of town.
Wow.
So it's, again, it's an 8-foot wide by 4.5-foot tall box culvert. When it's at Beale Avenue, it's a monster, and it conveys a lot of water.
Just for general knowledge, from the time groundbreaking starts to the end of the last phase, what's the rough estimate for how long that's gonna possibly take to complete?
That's a
Good
really
question.
great question. Obviously, so this is, and we'll get into it at Finance Committee when we'll get into all the dollars and cents of it at this point, but this project's all being funded out of the Stormwater Fund, which was established in '02 or '03, I believe, and hasn't seen an increase since then.
Right.
So this project, the debt service on this portion of this project will take basically $1 of the $4 that everybody pays monthly will go just to debt service on this project. So it's going to be stretched out over many years. It's not maybe in 10 years it'll be done, but I doubt it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
But
So
this
you need a motion from us to move it on to finance. Okay, I'll make that motion to move this project on to finance.
I'll second.
There you go. First by Mr. Spiegel, second by
Mr. Taylor.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
If anybody would wish to get into
into the nerdy details, our office is right in town.
I'm not smart enough
I will
for it.
gladly sit and talk to you about it as long as you wish.
I am not smart enough for that.
Okay, at this time, I'm gonna,
Chris,
go ahead.
would the service committee look at passing the rest of the 900 ordinances, get them moving ahead and hold up on just that one part?
I would prefer that I had the opportunity to look at the rest of that and read them thoroughly. Like I
They
said,
only had 2 days.
I skimmed over all of it, but I focused on the 913 because the bold lettering stuck out to me. And Mr. White had brought it up previous meeting. So it kind of was already on the radar to look at that. And,
So you guys only had it for a couple of days?
yes, sir.
Yeah,
I've
I didn't know that
seen it
part.
twice and I haven't. It's
Okay.
pretty, it's, there's a lot there.
I didn't know that.
I'll tell you this, I will have read it all thoroughly by the next regular council meeting.
And I say, you'd be surprised if you look back at our regular ordinances that are on there now, the ones we want to change, and see what that wording is compared to what the administration's worked hard on doing, and Brandon's worked hard on doing.
Yeah.
To change this stuff.
Yeah, and I do apologize that if it feels like I'm coming in here and throwing a wrecking ball on all the hard work you guys put into this, but it's just part of it.
Any public participation now?
Greg White, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. So first of all, am I correct to understand we're taking public participation now at the beginning of the committee meetings?
No, it's at the end of each item. Like just for instance, my health and safety committee, I've got 4 items on there. The committee's gonna talk about the first item. At the end of our discussion within the committee, we're gonna take public participation.
Okay,
And before we ever vote on a motion or anything, public participation should take place on that particular item, and that should happen with each item.
okay, I appreciate that, I really do.
Yes, sir.
Because I noticed tonight on the service committee, there was no public participation.
It's the first time we've had this format.
It's the
That's
first time
fine.
we've done.
Okay,
changed it.
thank you for that clarification, appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so on the service committee, so there's a couple questions I have that I would like to bring to the committee, is on the open projects list, the sewer rates for out-of-towners. And my understanding, there's some of the sewer lines that have been shut off, and that some people owe pretty sizable bills. I'd like that looked at. Under the open projects, the county water line projects, I would like to see this committee look at possibly selling all the out-of-town water lines and recouping our cost out of our own water line to pay for the loan and the interest rate that the taxpayers or the residents are paying now additional on their water bill.
That actually used to be on our list at one time.
Yeah, it was. And it was taken off. I'd like to have that put back on. The other thing is, the next item is 2 more down from there, the county water extension. I think we don't need to do any more county extensions until we get our own house in order, okay? I mean, we got pipes and how many patches on some places, and my understanding, and if Jeff Dunn back here wants to comment, because I'm not allowed to speak to the audience, I heard there's some places that have 15 to 23 patches in a short period of time. Okay, so we need to focus on getting our own infrastructure done first.
So
That can still stay on the list, but we're not going to take that off unless.
Right.
let me say this, Greg. Like for instance, is it Nevada Winford or Bucyrus Nevada or whatever road my daughter lives on? I don't even know her address, but anyway.
You don't want to give that out.
Well, whatever. We've already ran lines down that road,
Right,
right?
yep,
So we can't just remove the county water line expansion, because one thing that did, that their well pump went out.
well, I understand.
And the
I'm just talking about not expanding anymore.
I agree with that. I don't think we should be trying to sell any more water all over the place, but if we've already ran the lines and we still have people who aren't connected, but eventually they want to connect, whether it be an emergency, this, that, or the other, we need to keep that option on the table.
Fair enough. Okay, the next thing I want to bring up is about, since the mayor put an article out there, or it was on Telegraph Forum, about the wastewater treatment plant. I guess now that we're under the state EPA control now,
Right.
not the federal. So my thing is this, I had to hear it from a a Facebook page on Telegraph Forum and not from a council meeting or anything. So I think the public needs to know more information about what's going on with the wastewater treatment plant. The next item I want to bring up real quick, I just want to make this short.
I think that was brought up at a meeting.
Yeah, it was.
One time.
We had a guy come in and talk about it.
Yeah, we did. We had a guy talk in, but there's still a fight between who is going to oversee it.
I think he's the one that told us.
Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you this, Greg. What kind of influence do you think we have to tell the state EPA or the federal EPA what they're going to do
Well,
between the two of
But
them?
we can at least work with them.
Well, we'll work with whoever
That's
decides they're going to take
administration, yeah.
over on it.
I'm just saying. So I like to see, and we have it on the open projects list also, the utility service superintendent. I think that needs to be seriously looked at.
What do you mean?
What's that?
What do you mean? Explain,
Well-
and elaborate to me what exactly the
Well,
details you're talking about.
I think the manpower ordinance that has the utility superintendent to oversee all the departments, okay?
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's where it needs to be, a superintendent that answers to the mayor and answers to council,
Yeah.
okay? And not just to whoever,
Okay.
okay? We need some checks and balance in our own systems, okay?
But-
So that's why I want to bring that up to look at that.
I have that one circled
Okay.
already.
Yeah, and the last thing, a couple of other things I want to bring up too, is, on that, is creating an ordinance for allowing in-home water testing.
Okay.
I think that's in one of those 900
It
bills.
is, but I talked to Chad Slagle about that. And here's the problem, right? The EPA is coming down hard on the water department for testing the water. And you're right, it is for private residents and all that. But what's gonna happen, there's not been a lot of cooperation within the community to have water tested, but the way this is working, it's not, nobody from the water department's knocking on doors saying, we're coming in to test your water. They're offering and leaving cups for people to fill, and then they come back and pick them up, and they send them out for testing, this, that, and the other.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, I think that should be a voluntary thing. If people want to allow the EPA or the city in to test the water coming out of their faucet, I'm fine with that.
And right now, it is voluntary.
Yeah, I am
We
not
have a
on
list that
board
we have.
with an ordinance that says that we can come in and test your water, because once again, anything that I'm responsible for, if it's from the shut-off valve out in the grass, from there on, it ain't none of your business. If I want to drink water that's got from lead pipes, I'll drink water from lead pipes. But I'll just be honest, before anyone says I'm drinking lead pipe water, I drink bottled water, which is probably just as bad.
That's fine.
The procedure, they leave the cup out and the resident fills the cup
Correct.
out, put it back out on the porch and they pick it up.
Yes,
So
that's
it picks
fine.
up next
Okay.
day.
And it's supposed to be at a certain time too. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be
Right.
first thing in the
I
morning.
understand that.
Before you run the water,
Yep.
is when they're supposed to do it.
So,
We're
the
asking
other-
these guys to volunteer to do that for us.
That's fine. I ain't got no problem with that. It's just, it was on my radar because we had previously talked about that too in other meetings. The other thing I wanted to know is why from what we were told last time, the tonnage went up at the landfill. I'd like to know what happened? Why did the tonnage go up? Is it the actual trash? Wait a minute, is it the actual trash from the residents, or is it coming out of the wastewater treatment plant?
Okay, from conversations I've had with people, and it's been several people, it's the street sweeper. The city's been forced to run that thing, I don't know how many times, but more times than we normally did. And that all gets compacted out and then taken to the landfill. And also, if I'm not mistaken, there was some kind of sludge that we used to sell. We no longer can sell that. So that's getting out. Also, from our meetings back before right after the election, we went out there, and the gentleman that was working that day, I don't remember his name, but they've got this dumpster back there, and it's whatever it's bringing in, he said that thing fills up with leaves all the time. So now we're also dumping leaves. And here's just some suggestions. This is for the general public. Some things you can do it's not going to lower your trash rate, but it will lower the tonnage that the city's dumping. Put a lid on your trash can, rake your leaves, and be cognizant as a consumer. Quit throwing so much trash away, and just to put in perspective what you actually pay for trash in this city, for $18 a month, you literally can throw out 24 bags of trash. That's not expensive.
No.
And to be honest, it probably is time to raise the trash rates.
But I think it should be a per bag rate and not, because the reason why is you have a lot of older people in this community that only have one bag. Okay?
I agree. I have one bag of
Okay.
trash a week myself.
I have 2 bags, okay, because I compost everything else.
Right.
Okay, so why should I not benefit by my reducing my waste? Okay,
It's a-
the other thing too is we gotta look at it too. What can we do about recycling in this town? Okay?
Well, that's another point. I'm glad you brought that up. That's another
Yeah, I was
thing
gonna
people
bring it
can
up,
do as consumers. Start recycling. You'll lower the tonnage that we send to the landfill.
We have, what, at least 2 places here in town where you?
Yeah, one up by the Board of Education, I believe, and
Yep.
one down at Harmon Field, and they've got 3 dumpsters there.
And there's the ones behind Wendy's,
Okay, so there's
because I
3
use that one.
Okay.
And I take all my recyclables there.
Back there behind the title office they just built by the sheriff's office, there's probably 10 recycling dumpsters out there too.
Okay.
So I was wondering about that because I was thinking, why should, I mean, if the tonnage is coming from other departments, then it should come out of that
Yeah,
department's
my
funding.
only issue with that, Greg, because I agree, I'm in the same boat as many older people and you. I live alone. I have 1 bag of trash a week. Is it fair? No, but is it such a horrible cost that it's going to break anybody every month?
But the only thing is, you gotta remember, older people are on
Understand.
fixed incomes.
I understand
okay?
that.
And the other thing too is, because in chapter 9, the sewer rates went up January 1st, 13% by the ordinance. This is the last year of that part of that ordinance. But however, our water rates went up 12% because the safety service director can raise the rates whenever he wants to. And I think that needs to be looked at, and that needs to be totally looked at also, that I believe that there should be a set standard and not just whatever they decide to do, because now these older people now have 13 on their sewer, 12 on their water rates, and then they want to increase the trash by $3? Holy smoking cow. That could have been.
It adds up.
It adds up.
It definitely adds up. I agree.
So that's the things I think we need, Service Committee needs to look at.
Okay.
The last thing I would like to ask, a quick question, please.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Is, okay, on this water line that goes, and maybe Jeff Dunn can answer this or whatever, but I'm presenting it to the committee. So the insurance on the water lines that we pay on our monthly thing, will that replace that line if it does not meet the standards?
I think so. I'm not going to say 100%.
That a question came from 4 concerned citizens that contacted me and said, hey, what do you think of this? And I said, I've already wrote that down on my list, but I'm going to ask that tonight, because I think if that will replace the line, then guess what? Let the insurance take care of it.
Is that a question we can?
Yeah,
ask
I would like to
administration?
pose that question to anybody back here at this table that has that answer, or is that insurance set up for a water break only?
Tommy Starr, Service Safety Director, that is only set up for a water break. It's a leak
Water breaks
protection,
only.
period.
Thank you.
Okay.
And also, I'm sorry. Okay.
Greg, do you mind, Greg, if
Greg.
Tommy?
I got one more thing. You have to elect to get into that leak protection.
Correct.
Right.
The only one you don't have to elect to get into is that $1.10 or whatever.
$1.10.
That one is automatic. You have to elect to get out of that one, so.
And what's that one cover, just for the public general knowledge?
If you have a leaking toilet or something like that
It
inside.
protects your
inside-
water bill.
Yeah, protects your water bill inside your house.
That's isn't that just a one-time thing, or does that?
Nope.
Keep working?
Once per year.
Once per year. I was gonna say, I knew it was once for something, once per year.
But that's something that maybe the council or the administration can encourage people to buy into those 2 plans,
Oh, absolutely, I agree.
Because it actually, the cost savings in the long run for whatever 10 cents or $1.10 a month is, for the cost of tearing up your yard. I'm going to tell you, you're looking at least minimum, and maybe the guy from McKeever could
it's
say probably going to be at
$10,000
least $1,000
It's
or more.
$10,000.
Yeah, so I mean, we ought to encourage residents to actually look into that.
I agree.
All right, hey, appreciate your time.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Greg. Any more public participation?
Clarissa Slater, 364504. Back in March, I sent you a proposed rewrite of the 913.12, and I agree with you because the right to entry just makes it sound like I just have the right to your property. So I put exigent circumstances,
Okay.
because I know one of them that I think I talked to Tommy about, was it the Southern Lights, the casino, they're like shut off as like in their building or something, correct?
It is in the building, but I don't know.
Or maybe it's John I talked to about it, but I know there
It was
was,
probably John.
I think there was like an issue of like access, and I think that's where they were talking about this type
It's
of
in
thing.
another building.
That makes sense.
For them.
Yeah, like they,
That-
so
That makes sense,
I had put, and you could read it, was that you'd have to get an administrative warrant.
yeah.
Um,
That makes sense, and that covers the Fourth Amendment.
Right.
Because you have a warrant.
Right. Yeah, it was like 24 hours is how I wrote it, and then like, I know there was like 7 million different 900s, so it probably got missed, but I resent it, it's in your email.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate that.
You send that to Brandon too?
Brandon's got it, I think all of you got it.
Okay.
I sent it while sitting here.
Brian Reeves, 900 East Street. I got 2 questions. You said that the homeowner's responsible from the shut off to their house.
To the meter.
Well, I was told that it also goes into the street. Because I had a problem with my wire line, and where it shuts off, it connects into the street also, where it connects into the city water. Are we responsible from there to there too?
You shouldn't
Or not?
be.
No.
Because when I had somebody from the water department come and check it out, they told me that I was responsible for that. And they said that it'd be a pretty big penny going from the shut off into the street.
Yeah, and anybody got an answer for that question?
That shouldn't be the case.
No.
No, it
No.
is from the shut off to your house.
So we're
You're
not reliable
responsible
from the
for it.
shut off into the street to where it connects
Correct.
into the city.
Yeah, that's the city's portion of that line.
Okay, and then towards the insurance, I was told that they only pay a percentage, not the whole amount of replacing the lines.
Well, I think that probably is a pretty standard procedure for most insurance.
Right, well, I understood, I was just saying.
I don't know what that percentage is.
Right,
but-
and then one other thing, do I need to bring up what I brought earlier, or?
No, I told you that we can't, that's not necessarily something, it's not on the open projects,
Yeah,
it's not on our
yeah.
agenda, so the next council
Yep.
meeting, I will make a referral for that, and we can open that conversation up.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Just let you know that subject that you want to bring back up has been an ongoing battle for the city for 40 years.
Right, I
understand that, discussion for
but
that.
if it's a rental property, there should be different laws than when, just like Robert's saying about the water. If it's a rental property, they should have access to that. If it's a rental property and it's a safety hazard for a senior citizen to fall and get hurt, and they're not,
Let's have that conversation at the appropriate time.
Yeah, I
please.
think that's also, that'd be probably health and safety too.
Yep.
I think that's where
I
that's at,
think
yeah.
it will. Or plating.
I'm so sorry. I wanted to comment on the setting the rates thing. I'm also annoyed, no offense, that it's just kind of like unilaterally, but it's in the statute, so I don't think we can limit powers in the statute, but I think that's a Brandon thing, right? Because it says that the safety service director can set the rates. We can't
Right, for that one, yeah.
stop them from setting the water rates,
Well, I have-
right?
Water rates only.
Then I have a question for Tommy, if you don't mind answering the question, Tommy. Do we have what's the reason for the rate hike?
The reason is we had a $1.6 million, or $1.6 million deficit last year.
What was that $1.6 million deficit from?
Several things.
How much was the bond we took out?
1.7.
So you're $550,000 deficit, because we've solved that problem of the clerical error.
Yes,
By taking out a bond.
yes.
And
But now we have the debt of that we have
And
to
that-
pay back every year.
Also, Tom, hasn't it
Good
been,
point.
hasn't it been a while since the rates have been taken up anyway since past administration.
Yeah, it was
2022.
2013 or 14.
It should have been.
No, it's
it should
been-
have
it's
a
been
percent-
prior to that.
It should have been a percentage of it going up.
2019, wasn't it?
We're trying to play catch up with it.
Yeah.
How much, this is for Kaylee, how much money in 1 year will that 12% increase generate approximately?
Can I get back to, can I do look at it?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Finance?
Mhm.
Okay.
And I just, this is not being critical, this is just a suggestion. From now on, this administration or the next administration, when we have hikes like this, we need detailed information of why, how much, what it's going towards, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, so we can explain this to the public.
Can I make one more suggestion?
Yes, ma'am, it's still open for
Still
public.
it's
Hi,
still
Clarissa again.
public participation, yeah.
My only suggestion was that maybe that you have, like, you guys have an actual town meeting just over the water, because.
We did that once.
We did? I meant like the rates and stuff, because I know there was like the water study. Did you guys ever get that back? You authorized that lady to do the water study? Didn't you?
Yeah, we got that information back.
Okay. Did it provide anything useful?
Showed us when it started to go down.
When it started to go down the tubes?
Yeah.
I think it would just be,
And then I have it 10 years out. to when
Oh,
we can
sweet.
Come out of it.
okay. I think it would just be nice to like have an informational session.
I agree.
Because that was a huge thing the last
It's a
session.
big Excel sheet that no one really understands.
I like Excel sheets, so you can send it to me.
Any more public participation? Seeing none, we will adjourn at 6:47.
Good evening. It's Thursday, January 8th, and it's health and safety.
Good evening, January 8th, 2026, City of Bucyrus Health and Safety Committee, members present, Cody Scott, Chris Mauritz, Ray Thidoff, and myself, Robert Taylor, Chair. First item is policies and procedures, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know what we're talking about here. I think, is this the Kaylee thing that you referred?
Yes, the policies and procedures were something that were referred. We haven't got a chance to really look back at them. So if we could table it until next committee meetings, that would be preferable.
Absolutely. Any, do we need to vote to table that? All right, we will table that until next committee meeting. Next item is Bucyrus Police Department minimum manpower ordinance. Obviously, we are not in a good financial situation here in the city, and this is something that I referred to the committee. It's my concern is that we are placing undue strain on our police department and the officers. We have a very young force, and it's time to quit beating around the bush. It's time to get these guys up to par with what's a sustainable minimum manpower. And I really didn't want to have to do it with legislation to try to force the hand of the administration. But to be honest, I almost feel like it's not being taken seriously. Every department works shorthanded, essentially. I mean, we've restructured the water department. Kaylee works shorthanded with her staff. The fire department doesn't seem to work shorthanded, and that's an issue down the road that we are going to talk about. But what we're doing to the police officers is it's time to fix that. We need to get some people hired immediately, and we need to find the money to do that, and that's what this conversation is about. My suggestion is we hire 2 right now, and we find the money to hire 2 right now. We make minimum manpower 3 for second and third shift, and I think day shift, I think it's reasonable, and it's a compromise, that any call-offs, vacation, sick, whatever, we have enough experience and manpower from the leadership down there, outside of the chief. He can't, obviously, we're not gonna ask him to be patrolling and doing things like that, but I think we have other people down there that can fill in those spots. And I think that's a fair compromise to ease some of the mental and physical strain on our police officers. Any discussion from any of my committee members here?
How many maybe this is a question for Chief, how many members are we down right now?
I think right now we have 18, and I think we probably need more than 3, but I think 3 was the number I've heard. Yeah, please, Chief Dorsey, you inform us on this.
I don't think that's going to reach all of it. We currently do have 18 police officers right now, and I do have the green light to hire one person right now, which I'm in the process of hiring right now. He's doing his psychological evaluation, and we're waiting on his paperwork to get going now. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Chief Dorsey, is there a standard number of police officers needed for like a city of 11,000?
I recommended before 22, but I think we'd be okay with 21.
I mean, is there like
I can't remember exactly. I looked at the FBI statistic, and I believe it did come to 22. 21, I believe, would still be very much acceptable. But like I said,
so there is like a standard or a...
Well,
I can't remember what the ratio is, but there's a certain number of people.
Per capita.
Off the top of my head, I don't have it.
I know this. I looked at Galleon. They have a population of around 10,000 to 10,500. We are a little over 11,000. They have 19 police officers, I believe. Mansfield has 48,000 citizens, and they have 87. And from what I read, they are actually in the process of moving that number up to 102. So they have 4 times as many as we do, but they also have 4 times the population.
So they need extra hands.
My suggestion of hiring 2 immediately for second, whatever shift, I would assume would be second and third shift.
Correct.
Would that be sufficient?
Yeah.
To get us by for a little while until we can see what happens financially within this city?
Yes, it is, and actually, we had some discussions before, and that's what our initial goal and plan was, is to hire 2 right away and then see where we're at financially. Obviously, whenever April rolls around, to see where taxes are, see what everything's looking like, and then later in the year to hire a 3rd potentially. It's just a matter of dollars and cents.
Yeah. Do you have any concern, opposition, opinion on ordinance requiring a minimum manpower?
My main concern, obviously, is finances, you know, because once we get locked in saying we have to have a certain number of people all the time, the overtime could get out of control.
Right.
You know, obviously, we would have to have 3 people all the time, so we would have to be paying overtime. And that's when we could run into trouble because, you know, there's only so much money to go around. And the budget is what it is.
So if we were to hire 2 officers immediately, and I don't mean by April, I mean immediately, would we be able to forego passing a 3-man minimum ordinance for your department?
I believe so, because what my intention, what my plan was, is once I did have 2 people hired, I was going to implement 3 people out from 2 p.m. till 3 a.m. to cover the peak hours of call volume. That's what my plan was, just to lower the call volume on the officers. Because there's not that many calls that are coming in at 4 a.m.
Right.
There's not that many calls coming in at 11 a.m. There are, but there's also plenty of people working day shift Monday through Friday, such as myself, which I still do go out and handle calls occasionally. It still fits. So, I mean, we still do go out on day shift, but the call volume's not like on afternoons or night shift. But night shift does slow down after 3 a.m. or 4, when the bars are closed. Things do slow down considerably. So that's what my intent was.
Thank you.
You know, once we get the second person. I've seen a couple fingers.
My question is, so you want, say, hire 2 officers right now?
Yes, sir.
Do we have, if you were given the green light, you said you were given the green light to 1. Do we have that second officer to hire if needed, right? We can hire him if you wanted to hire him as soon as possible?
Yes.
And then when you did the testing, they were already...
No, he's already certified, already ready to go.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. They're already certified, they don't have to go through training or... Okay.
You had 5 good quality candidates anyway, didn't you, this last time around?
This was the first time in years that we had this many people who's already certified who I wouldn't have to send to school. And there are some people who just graduated and people who are in the academy now. I mean, there's a lot of people who are very close, but I'm really excited about several people.
I know you, I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead, man.
I know you do work really hard to keep your department under budget, because I was impressed with the overtime that your number, last year overtime numbers is crazy. To me, I don't know how you did it and kept it down that low.
Yeah, I had
really
that.
impressed.
They gave me a sheet.
And that was my concern with mandating 3 people all the time. Because having 3 people working at 4 a.m. may not be necessary, but then I'm paying somebody time and a half. And that's when then the budget could get, skewed a little bit too much. Just trying to save
What we
money.
currently operate right now, how many guys on a shift during peak hours?
It depends. I mean, with my overlap, I have 10-hour shifts. So a lot of times with the shifts overlapping, even if there's only 2 people working on each shift, there's 4 people working for, those overlaps. It just depends on the day and how the scheduling goes. Because with 10-hour shifts, you work 3 days on and 2 days off. So it just depends on the particular day on how many people are actually working. Anything else?
Thank you.
I have a question for Kaylee. Is it feasible and possible to dig into the budget and start pulling some money to come up with the money to hire this second guy immediately?
I'm gonna boot you out. So if you would like to, we can refer to finance to open up the general fund and safety forces fund, and we can go through that kind of line item by line item. I would suggest inviting both chiefs. We might want to have a private discussion with them first.
Okay.
I think we discussed that a little bit. See, so that they can prep what they're looking at the budget, and then, yeah, I think that would be fine. We could
Okay.
do that.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm good. Anybody else?
I'm good.
Public participation.
Greg Wyatt, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate this because I think we need these officers on the streets. I mean, I think with the budget can be looked at, but I also think it should be also, I understand the private meetings first, but then I think that the citizens should have a right to come and look at this and speak their will as they need to.
Well, they do.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
saying, but I mean, everything. So I agree with you, we need these officers, we need to find the money in the budget, we need to put 2 on right now, and then we need to look at down the road, how many more we need to put on. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, we're going to table manpower for further discussion, and I will be in contact with Kaylee and both chiefs to try to get this conversation moving in the right direction. The next item, IT plan. Once again, this must be an administrative thing because I have no idea what we're talking about here.
That's another one of the policies that I was going to ask if we could table to the next committee meetings.
Absolutely. That helps me because I don't know what I'm talking about.
If it makes you feel any better, neither do I.
Now, that was it. Now, just for my knowledge, Are both of those kind of tied into, was it House Bill 96 that was passed?
The IT stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, open project, I got public participation on any of that. Anybody out there know anything about House Bill 96 that want to talk about it? Thank you. Open projects. There are things in here that will be coming down the pipeline to talk about that nobody wanted to talk about them tonight. Unless Dylan has something.
Okay, so Dylan Wyatt, McKeever and Associates. So the previous council, I had discussed with them about removing the center left turn lane from Sandusky Avenue, basically everything south of Marion Road. When
there it is.
So when we rebuild Sandusky Avenue as a part of the storm sewer project in 2027, then ODOT is coming through and they're paving the surface course on Sandusky Avenue all the way through town up to Perry Street. Previous council had asked that we have a traffic study done to confirm, basically a left turn warrant analysis to confirm if we need the left turn lane. So that traffic study should have been sent out to everybody right at the end of the year. If not, I will get it. I think Michelle has a copy of it. She can send it out to everybody if you didn't get it.
So
It is.
just for clarity, we've already had this traffic study completed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was completed at the end of last year.
Okay.
Yep. I was intending to come in the end of last year, but we decided it'd be best just to wait for everybody, the new council, to be here.
Absolutely.
So I will warn you, the traffic study is lengthy. It's like 200 pages, basically, of just supporting traffic counts and documentation. But really what it comes down to, the conclusion is that through that entire section, Marion Road to Beale Avenue that we looked at, there's not a single intersection that a left turn lane is warranted on. Even Southern Avenue and Beale, although they do make the recommendation and we agree internally from the administration standpoint and then myself as well, that it's wise to keep those turn lanes at Southern Avenue and Beale Avenue since those are signalized intersections. And then as a follow-up to that, we've done a little digging into the traffic control map that the city has, and it looks as if, so in 75, Charles Street to Mansfield Street, it was voted to put a left turn lane in there and through that section. And then in 1980, from Charles Street down to Marion Road, it was voted on to put the left turn lane in there. Again, both those sections of road are wider, 36 feet minimum, which is what we would call standard for a 3-lane road, 3 12-foot lanes. And then looking at historical imagery from that area, from that era, it looks as if they just striped all the rest of Sandusky Avenue, even though from Marion Road south, it's only a 30-foot wide road. So that's why it's so tight when you drive down through there. If you've ever been in that turn lane as vehicles are passing on both sides of you, it is tight. So I guess really what we're asking is that we go back to what the traffic control map says, and when ODOT repaves that road from at Beale Avenue and Southern Avenue, we would restripe turn lanes, and when we rebuild the road, we would widen that section of the road to be 3 11-foot lanes, which is still meets the current standard. And then for the rest of it, we would just have 2-lane roads. And it would just be 2 normal lanes. We'll keep the same 30-foot pavement width because of the amount of oversized loads that come through there, and that area is kind of spotty with sidewalks, so that gives some extra room on the side of the road.
And currently, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there a center lane there now all the way down through there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I know
that's what we would be removing, is that
That
center
makes
lane.
absolute perfect sense to me.
Yep. So I guess
Do you need a motion
from
for
our
that?
standpoint, there's not really a motion that's needed since the map, the traffic control map was never really changed. It's just a know that if you all are okay with it, unless you want to change the traffic control map, we're going to restripe it back to 2 lanes. We will still have left turn lanes both northbound and southbound at Southern, and then southbound at Beale Avenue, just like it exists today. But the roads in those sections will be widened from what they are today by about 6 feet. And then the turn lanes will be lengthened to meet current ODOT standards. So.
Thank you. And I think you guys are the experts on that, and as long as you're in accordance with the ODOT standards. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah,
it
and we
is
did
what it is.
discuss this with ODOT when we first started talking about this, and since it's within corp limits, ODOT doesn't have jurisdiction, as long as we're not doing anything crazy.
Right.
They don't have jurisdiction. All that they ask is that we just let them know so that they can add it to their maps as well.
Gotcha.
This is going to all be a part of that meeting on the 14th,
Yeah, we can discuss this.
6:30?
Yep.
Here in council chambers.
Yep, correct. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any public participation on that? Okay, moving on. Wasn't planning on talking about this, but as I look at my open projects list, Mr. Reeves, if you want to talk about derelict buildings, is on my open projects list. In my opinion, that kind of under the same context that you want to speak about. You're more than welcome to come up here and talk about that if you want to.
Brian Reeves, 900 Southeast Street. About a month and a half ago, I went to the enforcement officer and the service director about a 77-year-old citizen, old lady that her sidewalks are like this. We have an ordinance that sidewalks is supposed to be fixed. I talked to the guy and he said pretty much the ordinance are fear tactics. He said they can violate them, but they don't take them to court. Because if they do, it costs the city too much money to enforce it. I don't feel that's fair. I mean, I can see it costing a lot of money and people can't afford it. But when it comes to renting a property, my mom's lived there for 39 years. So the guy can't say that he doesn't have the money because she's paid for that building in 39 years without being not thing. It's just, it's the slag stone, and if somebody falls, it's not just my mom, it's for everybody. It's right on the corner of Mansfield and Spring Street. I mean, I just feel it needs to be replaced. I know Robert's against it because of it's property that it should be their own to fix it, but just like he was saying about the rental properties where the pipeline should be enforced to be fixed, well, why can't we do that? Because this guy has multiple properties. It's not just one or two properties. He has over 100 properties in Bucyrus. So he can't see, he doesn't have the money to fix it, and if he does, then, if he doesn't, then maybe you should have to sell a building to fix the problem because of being a safety issue.
Just for clarity, Brian, it's not that I'm against it.
Right.
My hang up is I really don't understand how you enforce it without the city spending a lot of money, and with your previous statement right there about forcing someone to sell property. You're getting into civil litigation and private property rights that this city, I can tell you now, we can't afford to fight those fights.
Well, it's a dilapidated problem, they make them sell it. Because it's a safety issue.
And then where's your mom gonna live?
Well,
Because here's another issue I have, and this with the whole derelict building concept. We have people in our population here who can barely pay their mortgages.
right.
How do we justify forcing them to spend money on a property that they can barely afford to keep the mortgage paid on? And if we go down this road of being very strict and enforcing all this, we can't just do it with that property.
Right, it has
We're
to be
gonna
with all
do
of
it with all the properties, and then you know what we're gonna have? We're gonna have a bunch more homeless people. Because when the property owners have to put money into things, they're gonna raise the rent. And when people already can't, and then if you get to private residents, you can't even afford to pay your mortgage, how do you dump $10,000 into, and this is just hypothetical, a sidewalk? Or I don't, and for the general knowledge for the public, the property he's talking about, the reason the sidewalk is tore up is because however many years down the road, the city planted a maple tree in the tree lawn.
Right.
That's what tore the sidewalk up. So how do we justify laying that cost on the property owners?
Well, I have a question on that. What made the city to even make an ordinance about the sidewalks not being safe? There had to have been a problem somewhere
I can't
along the
answer
line
that
there.
question, Brian, because I don't know.
Mr. Chairman,
So,
can I,
Yes,
can I
sir.
say we do have a property maintenance ad hoc committee, and I think Jim right there behind you will back me up. We are working on that.
Right, I come here a year ago about it too also.
so it doesn't really matter. I agree with Robert on it, that if you start going after commercial landlords for it, they're just gonna raise the rent, because the way it ultimately is gonna go is the way that it usually always goes, and that's the city rectifies the problem, files a lien on the property, and if it doesn't get paid, then we take it, goes to auction, they can redeem it, they're gonna keep the property anyway.
Right, I understand
And then they're just gonna
that,
raise the
but-
rent to pay the lien, so.
I understand that, but what happens if they fall? You know what I mean? Then that person that is renting the property is reliable for doctor bills and emergency bill and all that
Well,
stuff.
that's
when it
anywhere.
could have been.
You fall in Walmart's parking lot, you're gonna have doctor bills and things. I guess I don't understand the angle of your argument on
Well,
that.
you have an ordinance where it's their responsibility to shovel the sidewalk. Why not, and then you have an ordinance if the sidewalk's
I don't think
messed
we
up,
have an
let's
ordinance
say.
for private residents.
Yeah, I talked to him, he said
Yeah, you gotta shovel your sidewalk.
Yeah, so
We're
that
gonna repeal
exposes
that.
it, because
We're gonna
it was
repeal
also
that.
brought up, well, why shovel it and expose the sidewalk? Because then if you slip and fall on it, you didn't see it, you're a tough cookie. Well, if they're supposed to shovel it off, it's exposing it anyhow. I mean, I tried to get a handicap parking so she wouldn't have to walk that way,
Mm-hmm.
but then they said the city doesn't do them no more. They don't do the handicap parking no more.
Really?
I'd be responsible to pay to have the sign made. I can't paint it yellow or nothing like that, because I went to the service director and talked to him about it, and they said that the council has to approve the parking to even make one, which I understand that.
I
but I
would
mean,
support that.
I was gonna say, we can do that.
I would absolutely support that.
Yeah, traffic commission, right?
That'd be
you know, I'm not
me.
here to make anybody mad.
No,
I'm just
no,
here
sir.
to make
Hey,
it
you
safe
bet,
for everybody.
Brian, no, that's
because
why we're here.
A year ago, when you go down by the hospital, by the school, you have little kids walking, and there was
Mm-hmm.
a sidewalk that was broke up and had flagstone stuff. You know, when somebody falls on that and they get cut, they're gonna get cut pretty bad. It's probably gonna go to the bone. It's not gonna go just a little cut.
Well, I understand that. Again, but I think the right route is probably for this particular situation, is probably a handicap parking spot. Other than, outside of going down the road of civil litigation and liens and literally, I think the law director is right. What you end up doing at the end of that is you're gonna drive people out of what right now is barely even affordable housing, but you're gonna make it completely unaffordable.
Right.
And it's a compounding effect. So if we can avoid that by rectifying that situation or any other similar situation, I think it'd be much better to avert it that way than to start going down this civil litigation and criminality and all that with over property maintenance.
Right, however you think's best. I mean, there's gotta be a way to
I agree,
solve
there's
the
a
problem.
compromise and a way to
Yeah, I
get
mean, I'm not saying
this.
go nail somebody with $10,000
No,
to remove
no.
the tree and fix the sidewalk.
Absolutely.
Maybe we can compromise and just like take the root out and make it from this way to at least somebody can walk on it. Is all I'm asking. I mean, I've tried talking to a landlord and they pretty much blew me off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then I went to the city and he told me that they don't enforce it because it costs us too much money.
Yeah.
So I mean, what do you do?
I think we look for an alternative solution.
Sounds good.
And the alternative solution in my mind is what you brought up, is a handicap parking spot.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
That might be something also too to be looked with Mike and zoning to see if there can even put a handicap space in that spot, because I know the road you're talking about. If it's allowed, there's always rules and regulations for all that too, so.
Right, yeah, 'cause
Might be
they-
able to talk to Mike about, see how far you can go with that before it's brought up to us to be able to.
Absolutely. I'll get with Mike.
It needs to go to traffic.
Traffic commission?
And then towards that, if you do that, I'll be responsible to pay to have somebody come out and mark off the water lines or gas lines and then install it and all that stuff too, which I'm cool with. Is there any way we can make it affordable for both parties instead of just pushing it off on
Yeah,
me?
there's no cost for them to mark the utilities, so.
Go ahead, Jeff.
They're actually, the city has put handicap signs up, went through traffic commission. We take care of the labor part of it. We
Okay.
don't charge it. We don't pass that on.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
because
you.
I was just told that by Gordon, he told me that it was our responsibility. They don't do it anymore. Otherwise, I brought it up,
So I
so.
can't speak for that, but I know.
Right.
if
Who
it goes
told
to
you that?
Traffic commission, my departments has.
Gordon Grove, I think that's his name, the one that's up there.
Thank you, Jeff.
Where you get the permits and all that stuff, because that's where I went to originally. Because he's the one that, is it Mike? All right, yeah, because they're the ones that told me that they don't enforce it because it costs too much money.
You just, give us the address.
What is the
Traffic
address?
240 West Mansfield, on the corner of Mansfield and Spring.
What was the address, sir?
240 West Mansfield.
240?
Yep, it's on the corner of Spring and Mansfield.
We'll take it to traffic commission and see what they say.
And the sidewalk in question is on Spring Street, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any more public participation?
It's been that way for a long time. 'Cause
Oh, I used to live down
My
there.
bicycle over there.
Yep.
Good launch.
Craig White, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. I understand about the dilapidatory buildings, and stuff like that. But see, last year, I also brought up to council last year when the street levy thing came up for renewal, that we should take a percentage of that to start replacing maybe part of the sidewalks. Chris Mauritz knows this. I know Jim Mead knew about that when I brought that up. That should have been looked at back then, to where a portion of the street funds would replace sidewalks within the city and start replacing them, okay? Little by little. Because if you go down Kaler, and I see the kids walking for the school buses, so if you go from Oakwood Cemetery north, okay, those sidewalks are so dangerous that it is not funny. I mean, they're actually sitting up at least 3 inches out of the ground.
Yeah, and that's a common problem.
Yep.
All over the city.
Right.
We gotta be frank, and it's from the trees that were planted 30, 40, 50
Oh,
years
yeah,
ago.
I'm
you
not
know?
disagreeing with you. But it's something we need to look at. I'm gonna try to be short.
Let me stop you
Yeah,
first. So why I got this train of thought. He's talking about money coming out of the street fund for that, and this is my question for anybody over here that in the know. Is that legal, or do we, because I know Plymouth, when they redid the streets up there, they redid the sidewalks and the driveway approaches. Was that out of the street fund, or was that done with grants?
Where was that at?
Plymouth?
Plymouth. That was a state project.
Okay, that was a state project.
That was a state project.
So for us, and what he's talking about, is that legal for us to fix sidewalks out of the street fund?
The 0.5% money was not meant for that. It was curbing. If I remember, we changed it one time, they had curbing in there
Okay,
and not sidewalks.
so it's not legal, Greg?
Well, unless we change it.
Yeah, unless you change it, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we can
But it's
look
not a
at,
renewal then, it's a new levy.
it'd be a new levy.
So we'd have to pass a new levy.
Right, I'm just saying, but to remember, the street levy right now is good that we passed last year is for 6 years, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
So it'd be 6 years down the road, but it's something we ought to look at down the road.
That is correct.
Valid
Okay.
point, thank you.
Yep, the next thing I want to bring up on the open project list that still isn't done is food trucks. The criminal ordinance package is still not done. And I understand the traffic commission because certain people at the
Let me
first stage.
stop you, Greg.
Yep.
We have a new format here, right? I, as the committee chair, I get to dictate what we talk about.
Oh, okay.
I am not prepared to talk about the food trucks because I have not looked into it. I don't know enough about it. I appreciate your concern over it, and I do remember some of the conversations, but I would prefer that as I'm looking at the open project list right now, there's nothing else on here that I am prepared to talk about. I don't have any information on it.
Okay.
And as the format goes, the committee talks about it, and then we have public participation on it.
Okay, so nothing on open projects is open for discussion unless it's on the agenda?
No, open projects are open, but I, as the committee chair, I hold the authority to dictate the conversation. And what
Okay.
I'm telling you is,
That's fine.
no matter what you say about the food truck, the conversation ends right there today because we don't know enough about it.
Oh, that's
Actually,
fine.
when you say we, you actually do mean we, because none of us were on
Right.
health and safety.
Okay, so since the income tax levy for the pool was put on
That's finance.
no, it was put on for health and safety too.
It's not on my agenda.
Okay, but it's on the agenda.
That's the open projects.
That's the open projects list.
Yep. It's near, second page, 5/20/2025, income tax levy for the pool.
That's not on my health and safety agenda. That's what I'm
Okay.
telling you.
That's what I'm saying. So since we brought up traffic commission, can I talk about something on traffic?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So at the fire department, once again, I'm gonna bring this up. There's people parking on the sidewalk in the
I'm
yellow
aware.
zone. Okay, and that needs to stop. I mean, I got a complaint Sunday that somebody that knows me sent me a picture of the same truck parked on the same sidewalk.
Let me ask you this. Have you brought this issue up with the fire chief?
I brought it up to the service safety director, the mayor, and the police chief.
Have you brought it up to the fire chief?
Well, I would think if I told the mayor and the safety service director,
No, I-
because the safety service director is actually the
He's the fire
boss.
chief's boss, I understand.
And I
guess
didn't
the point-
wanna-
The point I'm making,
But he got an email from me there.
right, if I had an issue as a taxpayer, if I had an issue with a water department employee, I would talk to the
Well, I'll
leadership
put
of
you
the
this
water
way,
department.
he got my email.
Okay, thanks. So you did make contact with
I
him? You let him know.
emailed him the problem
Okay.
there, and it
Did you
is,
get a response?
no.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Any more public participation?
I just had a brainstorm, Clarissa Slater, 3645 State Rep 4, and listening to the individual who spoke,
Mr. Reeves?
thank you. I had a couple thoughts. I did speak to, when we were doing our ad hoc for property maintenance, I reached out to APS,
Uh-huh.
which I think am I still?
Who? You reach out to who?
Okay, cool. Adult Protective Services.
Okay.
Regarding like property maintenance issues.
Uh-huh.
So that's something that we're addressing in the property maintenance ad hoc is how to basically have it be synergistic. So having our ordinances work with APS so they can basically, we can coordinate and give people the services they need. One of the things that in brainstorming, ADA is a thing that comes up with someone who's 80 years old. We can file an ADA complaint. That would have to probably be done with property maintenance and the law director.
Yeah.
But that's an avenue that would be a conversation these two could have. But just to
So,
bring it up.
again, we get into what's the purpose of filing the complaint and bringing on litigation that's gonna cost the property owner money, that's gonna raise the rent and create.
But if you are, right,
homeless.
I don't disagree with you. I understand where, it's the slippery slope
Yeah.
is what you're looking
Mhm,
at. and-
absolutely.
Which is a fallacy, if we're gonna be fair about it.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
it
agree.
doesn't mean that's what's gonna happen.
Right, I agree.
But-
It's just a hypothetical.
Right. My whole thing is everything's kind of nuanced, so,
Mhm.
and this is something that I learned sitting on that side that you're probably seeing pretty quickly.
Mhm.
Like, we can't plan for every single
No,
everything.
absolutely.
And his situation isn't the same as a 20-year-old or me.
Correct.
Renting a property, but if you are agreeing
Mhm.
to rent a property, if it was already like that, then some of it, I don't know how long she's been there. But
It's
if
been
you,
like that for 30 years, I can tell you that.
if you chose to rent that property while you're there, you have to think about it that way too. But if it's something where there's been a decline in health, you chose to be a landlord,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be accommodating per the law.
Right.
So it's something on a case-by-case basis. It's not something
I
like, well, you're
agree.
not blanketing it.
I absolutely agree, but unfortunately, with ordinances and law.
Exactly.
It's a broad brush. It's always a broad brush,
Mhm.
and anybody that's reasonable understands that enforcement's always discretion. There's
Right.
always discretion on enforcement.
Exactly. I don't disagree with you, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think it's a council issue. I was just bringing it up as like an
Okay.
avenue for
I
a
understand.
conversation, so
So,
that way kind of
I have a question for you
Yeah.
on the whole ADA and the ADS thing.
Mhm.
Is that an avenue we could approach a way we could approach the handicap parking spot issue? Do they provide any kind of funding? Do they do anything like that you know of?
Adult Parole Authority, there has to be like a level of negligence in there, so
Okay.
I don't know how that works, but I think it's gonna be probably Traffic Commission, but.
Yeah, it is. As far as getting the go-ahead to do that.
We were looking at grants through, we had that discussion, I think like August of last year. Grants for sidewalks, I can pick that back up, because there are some funding out there, but
Okay.
I think the other thing is, we're talking about a percentage of the street fund going to sidewalks. The issue is then how do you decide?
Right, right.
Right.
And just for that particular instance, as far as fixing the sidewalk, if you don't cut that tree out and grind that stump down so the root stops growing, there's no use in fixing the sidewalk.
Because the roots will just keep growing.
It's gonna keep growing.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but yeah, there's a lot of discernment, but I just wanted to put that out there as an avenue for you, maybe helpful, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any more public participation? That being said, I'm going to make the motion to adjourn. 7:27.
Next up is Public Lands and Buildings Committee.
All right, I would like to call Public Lands and Buildings Committee to order at 7:29. Those in attendance are Robert Taylor, Chris Mauritz, Allison LeClaire, and myself, Ray Thidoff, Chair. First thing we have on the agenda is Resolution 238-2025, which was referred back to committee. That was regarding the, 233, the old YMCA building. And that was referred back for the whole reason of, I think we probably should get some more information on that before we made a decision. I think everybody was pretty much in agreement on that one.
I guess I would like to hear everybody's thoughts on the pros and the cons either which way. What are the pros of keeping that building and what are the cons of getting rid of it?
Right. My suggestion was maybe each of us could tour the building, talk to some more people, just get some more ideas. Before, I just didn't want to make a split-second decision because we've all had this thrown at us, so.
Right. I have a question for Kaylee administration is holding on to this building currently right now, like say tomorrow or this next month, is it costing us any money? No?
Not costing us anything right now.
Okay. Will it, in the future, if we hold on to this, do we foresee it costing us money?
Not as it is.
What do you mean?
I mean, if we tear it down, it's gonna cost.
Well,
us.
obviously.
I mean,
If
we
it
do
just
any-
sits there the way it is,
Right.
dilapidated, it's not gonna cost us a dime.
Right.
Roger that. Thank you.
Tommy, would you be willing to give some tours to some council members if they want to go take a look at the property?
Yeah, if I can, we can get a.
Set up a time.
We can get I can get a key for it, yeah.
Also, Chief Schwimley has a key, I believe,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
That's
So we
who I would
could
have to-
stop at the fire department, and I'm sure he'd walk us over there and let us check it out, maybe.
Yep.
If anybody wants to do that, Robert.
I don't need to see it.
Take a pair of shoes with you.
Hard hat.
They got skates in there still.
They still have
You
skating
can roller
chests.
skate if you want. Does anyone else have any more discussion on that topic? Is anyone from the public would like to discuss anything on that?
I'm up here more than I wanted to be.
You're not getting paid either.
No, the CIC, the YMCA property, this is the one, right?
Right.
Right one, okay.
Right.
The only thing that I was passionate about is the option. Like, I know there was talks about selling it to specific individuals. That would be the CIC's discretion if, that
Right,
would go through.
that's pretty much their property to
Right.
do what they wish.
Right now, the CIC doesn't have any property, and the reason is because we can't afford to insure it. So all of those authorizations we made last year, they're still sitting there pending, because as soon as we transfer that over, the CIC is then responsible, and if it's not insured and it burns down, then it's a loss. So right now, the city still owns them, it's just the option to do so. I don't think there's a problem with having that option, but that's just my personal opinion. Who it gets sold to, I don't really care.
Right.
I mean, that's the CIC's discretion.
Yeah.
Are you still on the chair? Are you the president? I don't know how that works with the change, so. I mean, Tommy's the president, and,
I think we'll vote for that. One of these things.
yeah. But I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for economic development. I think we need to get it started, but I just think having the option to sell it isn't a terrible idea. If they choose to do so, they would have a contract and be able to set out terms. If they need the back half of the property, I'm sure they could probably split the parcel. That gives all the options. That's the only reason why I think we should, because we really do need to get the CIC moving.
Yeah, that's my whole feeling. I didn't want us voting on it anytime
Right.
soon, so I'm thinking maybe let's take a look at it, back off for a couple weeks and.
So just for
rethink
my
it.
clarity, you're saying it would be in the best interest of the city and the CIC to sell that property so the CIC has some funding for the other properties we've already.
A property, period. Like, we haven't sold any property at the CIC. The CIC
Okay.
currently doesn't have any of the properties that we've authorized to be transferred. And the reason is because as soon as we transfer it to the CIC, it's their property, it's
Right.
like a pseudo.
Uh-huh.
And so if anything happens, we have no, it's a loss. I mean, that's.
Right, so, but that's what I'm saying, so what, the argument you're making that makes it positive for us to sell it is that it provides some funding that the CIC
Right.
needs.
It's just another option if somebody's interested, because we
Yeah,
already
I
have like
agree.
the North End Fire Station and all
Mhm.
the other parcels.
Mhm.
I'm just saying, if it doesn't get sold and they don't want to sell it for whatever price, but I think we do need to consider trying to get some seed money in there so we can actually get the CIC moving.
Yeah, I agree, and if we don't have the administration does not have a long-term plan for that particular piece of property, not the building
Mhm.
to me is worthless.
Right.
But if we don't have a plan for that particular piece of property, then we need to get rid of it. That's my opinion.
Well, there's numerous options right now, and there are people we need to talk to before we make that decision.
Oh,
That
right,
was the
right.
whole
But I'm
thing.
just saying that I don't want
I
it
agree.
to feel like it's a closed end, like if you guys send it to CIC, it has to be sold because nothing's been sold. So that's why I was trying to say.
Oh, okay, now I see what you're saying. It could literally just sit in limbo like the rest of it.
Right, right. I'm just saying, like, I don't see the problem with having it there, because then administration can work it out, like I said, split the parcel if they want, because I know the back half they were wanting to use as parking. That was,
Which they do need.
so that was my only thought on that, but.
Yeah, valid point, thank you.
Clarissa, before you leave, how many properties do they currently have?
How many did we send? You were
I'm
here.
just saying.
Well, let's
How many
try not to,
reactions is
let's
there?
try not to get too far off
Technically, none of them
topic
have been
here.
transferred yet.
None of
Yeah, that's
them
what I say,
transferred.
technically, no, but there's at least 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so let's just take a look at that one again and come back in a few weeks and
Table it.
talk
Fair
about it then, yeah. Okay, next thing I have on my agenda,
Oh, yeah, public, one particular.
oh, I'm sorry.
Bill Stuckert, 205 North Spring Street. I am also a board member of the Property Maintenance Appeals Board. And talking about the YMCA building, Mr. Starner said he does not think there's going to be any cost involved in that building, but really there should be, because that building, as you stated, is dilapidated. I think there is concerns about the roof on it. Under the International Property Maintenance Code of 2012 that we operate under, that building is a safety concern. There should be money put into that building to make it safe. So I think that it is wrong to say that there's not going to be any expense to the city for that building. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Anyone else? Okay, next thing I have is the office space at City Hall. I guess my first question would be to Mr. Goldbrick.
Yes, sir.
Do we need legislation to move an office?
No, you can just do a voice vote.
Okay.
Unless you
I'm
expect there to
assuming
be a
everyone,
problem. If you expect there to be a problem, I suggest it's in writing, but if it's just a, hey, move this over there, it can just be a voice vote.
I believe if there's going to be any movement of records, we do have to transfer, that has to go to the Records Commission, and they have to agree. Anything, like if we were to move records from this room to this room, I believe it has to be approved by the
That is
Records
true.
Commission.
I should have asked, what office are we moving?
the Civil Service Office.
Yeah, that one's going to be legislation.
Okay. I'm assuming everyone's familiar. with- Chris, are you familiar with the, wanting to move the Civil Service Office
Yes.
downstairs to the
Yes.
corner? Okay.
To Jim Jordan's old office.
Right. So I guess at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion as an emergency to direct Service Safety Director Tommy Starner to move the office downstairs.
What are your grounds for it being an emergency?
So we can get it done like today.
Gotcha. So legally, it can only be an emergency if it affects the health, safety, well-being, or it's like
Security risk.
deadline, that kind of stuff.
I'll say
Security
this, it's, if I can, it's because we want to separate the city council business from the civil service business. And
It's
they're
gonna be
cross-
our
they're
caucus
crossing
room, basically.
paths, and what we have, it appears we have, there's possibility of access to sensitive documents within the civil service department because the council clerk is in there, right? And people are in and out of that office. I think the civil service department needs its own private, secured area that nobody else has access to. And I think that's the issue at hand.
So you're suggesting not do it as an emergency?
Yes, nothing you've said satisfies it being an emergency.
Okay. Okay, with that information, then I would entertain a motion, not being an emergency, to have Safety Service Director move the Civil Service Office downstairs to the southwest corner.
I will second that motion.
I need someone to make a motion first.
I'll make the motion to move the civil service office downstairs to the southwest corner.
Then I need a second. Thank you, Chris. And I'm assuming I need a roll call vote for that. Taylor,
Yes.
Mauritz,
Yes.
Leclerc,
Yes.
motion passed. Okay, next on my agenda was I think that was the policy and procedures that was on your Health and Safety Committee that no one really knows
Yeah, I think.
much about it. so-
Table it here too, right?
Yeah, we'll table that one too. And then on to our open projects. Does anyone want to discuss any of our open projects? Which I suggest, again, we look at this list because we're pretty unfamiliar with it and come back next meeting.
Again, all of us all brand new to that one.
Right. I see a few that I could probably ask to remove right now, but
No, there's one here that
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna talk about, and I'm shocked it's not on here.
it's not on there.
Well, it must be crossing over to the Finance Committee. That's the, income tax levy for Miller Pool. Or is that a different?
Yeah, that's,
What's that?
It was only referred to finance this time. Last time, it was brought up last year, it went to both committees.
Okay, and it just hasn't been pulled?
When the legislation got approved, that should have come off that list, and that was an error.
Roger that, thank you.
so we'll discuss the list next meeting. Is there any other public participation?
Greg White, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, going back to the fire station, I think the city needs to keep that in the city and use it to whatever they need to use it for training or storage for the fire department. I think also we ought to look at possibly down the road, brownfield grants. If we need to tear down part of the building, maybe we can find a part of a brownfield grant to demo part of that building or try to make it safe or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is, I want to bring up is that, so the property that the old fire station, okay, is technically been sent over to the CIC.
You're talking about the north end at the
Plymouth
bottom
Street,
of the hill?
Plymouth Street Fire
But
Station.
it has, but it's my understanding from what Clarissa said is it's pretty much in limbo. They haven't necessarily accepted
So, but
it.
it wasn't passed in an ordinance to give it to the CIC.
Right.
So it is in an ordinance that's passed, okay, along with some other properties. I would like to see this committee, and I had talked to the mayor, and he must have left, but Tommy might know about it. I talked to the mayor about taking this public lands and buildings, taking that property back out of the CIC, okay, and giving it back to the city, okay, and then putting it up for auction because I'm aware of at least 3 major people that want to go to auction, but they don't want to go through the CIC because they don't trust them, okay? Because of the way the CIC is set up, okay? That's technically all. The other thing is, too, is then that money, if it's put back into the city's hands, sold at auction, which it can be, with a reserve bid of whatever you guys want to come up with, and then let the bidding wars begin. That money then is put back in public lands and buildings and can be used to fix this roof that Tommy Starner has brought to former council that's going to cost over $420,000. Mr. Starner, am I correct, or am I?
That sounds low for a commercial.
Is that the magic number or not?
Was it really?
That was a magic number, yeah.
Was that the magic number, 420?
It was around there at that time.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
I was gonna say, at that time, that was the number.
8 months ago.
I think it's 260.
Wow. That's really low.
Don't quote me on that, but I think it was in the budget at 260.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if we bring the Plymouth Street Fire Station back out of legislation, give it back to the city and allow them to auction it off, we might be able to get $180,000 to maybe $200,000 to help pay for the roof. And then that would help the general fund out for their police officers then too. Okay? Because doesn't that money come out of the general fund for the roof? I'm asking a question.
That I don't know.
Yeah, let's try not to get too far off.
I
Greg.
know, I'm just saying.
We're drifting a little bit here.
Okay, but I'm saying is, this committee needs to look at that and bring that piece of property back into the city's hands so they can effectively sell that to benefit the city and not anything else. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Anyone else?
Okay, the city still has these properties until the CIC accepts them.
I thought so.
Okay, so the CIC want to know what you can do with that money, so that's something else you want to investigate also, besides if the city sells it, what can they do with the money? Because if the CIC sells it, there's no roof going on here.
Right.
Okay?
Well, that's not necessarily true, because
That's the way I've been told and understand it, so if I'm
any
wrong.
of the money that's not used to run the CIC gets donated back to the city's general fund.
Okay.
It's a nonprofit. We can't make a profit. It's the general fund, right?
Well,
There's the.
because,
There's the lady.
I'm close.
so if the CIC sells it, the money goes into the permanent improvement fund, but if the CIC sells it, it should be used for economic development. So that's why we can't use it for a roof for our building.
Gotcha.
But if the city were to sell it, Greg is correct, if the city were to sell it, then on our end, to forbid, we couldn't use that money for the roof because there wouldn't be the same stipulations, so.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, Kaylee. Anyone else? Seeing none, we will adjourn at 7:47 PM.
Is next.
What? Oh, okay. Okay. Calling to order the Economic Development Committee at 7:50. Members present are James Mee, Ray Hill, Terry Spiegel, and myself, Chair, Allison McClare. Open projects. Is there any open projects anybody wants to discuss? I didn't see anything too pressing, but yes.
There's
Jim?
nothing to discuss, but as chair, you need to familiarize yourself with JED and CETA.
We were just talking about that.
Annexation.
Yes, we were just talking about that, so.
All right, perfect.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, public participation?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. We postponed, Clarissa Slater, 3645 State Route 4. We postponed the CRA appointments, but if, double check with Brandon, I'm pretty sure that falls on you to bring them to Kevin.
Okay.
Because I know that in speaking to McKenna, they would love to have that as a local option still. But we have to have a housing council, which is just a group of people that either approve, basically negotiate the contracts and approve them, so. I think there's 2 for you, 2 for the administration they haven't do yet, and then traffic, or planning commission. Planning commission gets 1, and then once those members have their first meeting, they'll appoint 2 more.
Did they, like, how long were they thinking it would take to get it done?
Well, it's all ready, you guys just have to make those appointments.
You just gotta make the appointments.
Okay, perfect. All right. Any other public participation? See none, then we will adjourn at 7:52 PM.
Next up is Platting Committee.
Platting Committee will come to order at 7:52. James Mee, Chair, Terry Spiegel, Allison McClare, and Cody Scott. Open projects. Anybody want to discuss anything on open projects?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Did we not get the Ethel Street alley vacated?
We did not.
No, we didn't.
Oh, it's not done yet?
We need the sign off from the railroad, and they are ignoring us.
Okay.
Anything else?
What's the status on Sunoco rezoning down there?
The owner didn't file his request right. We can't get a hold of him to see what he wants to do, and it was taken off the open projects list because he's not interested. Why are we?
Thank you.
It's not taken off, it's still on here.
Should
Okay.
have been taken off.
We did take it off.
I'd like to take it off. Does everybody want to take it off here?
Sure. Take it off.
You got that? All right.
That's the way to do it.
Anything else needs to be taken off?
Wait, you're taking Ethel Street off? Please don't do that.
No, the Sunoco
Okay.
gas station.
Yeah, okay.
We already took it off once, but we're going to take it off a second.
Is the annexation of the recycling center, has that already been?
No, and we're going to leave that on there.
Okay.
Yes.
We gotta discuss that. Okay.
Anything else, guys?
Nope.
No.
Let's Drive, we're keeping that on there, right? Is that done yet?
It's not done yet. We
So-
still have to, they don't want it anymore. That's the problem. They don't want to do it anymore, but we got the lift station, so.
Okay.
We have to figure out how we're gonna, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do. And
Okay.
there's no real easy answers.
All right. Cody, I want you to familiarize yourself with 1189.03. That was a piece of legislation that I could not get passed. I had too much pushback on it.
Yeah.
I want your opinion on what's going on with it. Why am I getting so much pushback on it? It's resurfacing is what it is. Okay? Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Meeting adjourned at 7:55. Oh, public participation, I'm sorry.
Greg White, 1125
How you doing,
Hillcrest
buddy?
Drive. Hey, thank you, sir. So the annexation of the Crawford County Recycling Center, I mean, are we gonna have to end up taking them to court? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna apply the ordinance? I know that says if you get water and sewer, that we can annex you by that ordinance. Are we gonna push the issue with them, or are we gonna push the issue with everybody else though, too? That's my question for the committee, okay, to look into. The other thing too, since it was brought up about property maintenance, okay, earlier in another committee, and that basically dilapidated, properties and stuff.
Okay.
So what's gonna happen with the property maintenance code when you guys get it done? How's that gonna be enforced? Because there's sidewalks in there, there's buildings, dilapidated buildings. Terry knows what I'm talking about. It's gonna be opening up a can of you-know-what. But what's gonna happen, once that all gets passed and all that time was done, is it really gonna be enforceable or not?
I'm hoping we'll have to look at. That's my hope.
But I'm just saying is because of what was talked about earlier tonight.
Because the 2024 property maintenance code, the majority of that is not as unenforceable.
Correct.
So that's why we're coming up with our own, so we can enforce it.
But as the earlier discussion was talked about sidewalks and stuff like that, because that's in that code, 24 code too.
Correct.
How are we going, how's the
I don't have that answer
city
yet.
going to enforce all this stuff when, you can't enforce something about sidewalks and make people clean up their property or fix their sidewalks? That's my only question, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Any more public participation? Seeing none, meeting adjourned at 7:57. Finance Committee, come to order at 8 p.m. James Lee Chair, Terry Spiegel, Ray Thidoff, Robert Taylor. I got public participation. Anybody wants to talk? It's on my list. It's on the agenda.
Ken Long, 625 South Spring Street. I'd just like to know about the pool and the
Well,
levy.
that's the first thing up on our list.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Swimming pool levy. So the way I'm going to handle this is we're going to go around and talk. There's some of us opposed to the levy, some of us are for the levy. And so, Mr. Taylor, I'd like him to start off.
I'm opposed to asking the taxpayers for any more money at this time, for anything really. Water rates are going up, trash rates are going up, sewer rates are going up. We are struggling to meet the bare minimum, and we're not even meeting the bare minimum in some of our departments. And these are things, for instance, the police department, that are necessities. And here we are having a discussion about a luxury item. Now, I don't know how anyone else runs their household, but for me, if I can't put food on the table, I'm not going to the movies. I don't see the sense, I don't see the justification in asking the taxpayers for more money for a luxury item, when if we're gonna ask them for more money, we should be asking them for more money to pay for the necessities. And to me, it does not set a good example as leadership to do that. And secondly, we've already put this to the voters, and they voted it down. Those are my main concerns with it. And there's been concern amongst the administration and the other council members that if this ends up on the ballot, I'm going to make a big fuss about it. I promise you I am not. If that's the way the cookie crumbles, that's the way the cookie crumbles, and we'll lay it at the feet of the voters. But for me, there's not going to be any support to put it on the ballot. My vote's going to be no from here on out.
So that, it doesn't end with a no. We have a, if it doesn't go on, then it sits there and it's empty, or it has to have water in it, or the bottom's gonna come up out of it. Then we're gonna have to do something with it, because we have a 10-foot hole there that's a liability issue that I'm afraid a kid may climb over the fence, or somebody else may climb over the fence. And now we have a multi-million-dollar lawsuit on our hands.
Now, so to explain that, what he's talking about is attractive nuisance.
I have a question. What's the difference of having water in it? It's the same,
explaining.
Hold on.
That's what I'm explaining.
Okay.
We'll give them the floor.
So the fence around the pool, that's standard, that's reasonable. A filled swimming pool is not really an attractive nuisance in that particular situation, but an empty pool would attract kids skateboarding, it would attract kids doing dumb stuff.
Well, I'm just gonna speak from experience. As a kid, we'd climb the fence at night and swim in the pool. I mean, that's what a pool's for. And if a kid...
Assumption of risk.
Agreed, but to me, and just the common sense logic I tend to use, the risk is all the same. I mean, and I think it's probably more of a risk having water in it, because you're more likely to drown than you are to die from just falling in the open hole.
Well, if somebody's skating in it and they fall backwards and hit their heads.
I agree.
I
I
know we
understand.
can't run this city on what ifs.
I understand.
From a legal perspective, and obviously every lawyer is different, I would be more comfortable as a lawyer defending somebody, or defending a lawsuit where somebody hopped the fence and swam in someone's pool and died, than if they hopped the fence and went into somebody's empty pool and got hurt by skateboarding or doing other dumb stuff. I would feel I wouldn't want that case.
I guess I don't see the difference in the logic of the liability. But I'll take your word for it that you're more comfortable defending that. It doesn't change my opinion on it, though.
Okay, I'm not trying to.
No, absolutely not. No, sir.
This is a discussion for
Absolutely.
everybody.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Ray, what do you think?
I tend to agree with Mr. Taylor, but I think a decision like that should be left to a vote. But I don't want to see it levy after levy. If it doesn't pass, another levy, another levy, another levy. I would be willing to put it on the ballot again and let the voters decide. I mean, I have my opinion, I have my vote, but I think something that big should be left to the citizens to vote for.
Mr. Spiegel.
My opinion is, I agree with Mr. Taylor a lot on stuff, but I think that it should be brought to the voters to vote on it. That they should pick if they want it. If they don't want it, then we gotta come up with another way of funding it. We did that a couple of years ago when they asked for donations from different organizations, and it worked out pretty well. Each organization gave a week or something like that, or a day or something. It worked out, but how much money did we lose on the pool last year? You know?
I'm looking it up now.
I know it's a money pit considered.
It's leaking water.
But it is
Well, it's not making
something.
money anyway.
Right.
It's something for the kids to do during the summer. We always hear the kids don't have nothing to do in this town. Well, you take the swimming pool away, that's one more thing they won't have. That's the only bad thing about it.
And I agree with that sentiment.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly, I do.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to interrupt you guys, but are we guaranteed that this levy is going to be enough to run the pool?
Well, we'll get to that in just a second.
I didn't know how far you're going to go with it and how much.
So this last year, we spent, sorry, my fingers are too quick. Well, I'm missing a page from this detailed trial balance, I apologize. I believe it was around between $95,000 and $98,000 to operate the pool last year.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we need to leave it up to the voters. I know they turned it down one time before, but if they find out their kids have to be home all summer with them, maybe they'd vote for it too.
Well, we're hoping they're at work.
So
Now, I remember a few years ago, now Jeff might know this, the YMCA took over the pool, ran the pool for a summer, did they not?
Yes, they did.
4 years ago? Is there any possibility they would be interested in doing that again? I mean,
We asked them and they were not willing to do that.
okay. Oh, yeah, that's my opinion on it, so. I
In
think we
that
need-
same kind of vein, have we approached any of the local businesses, like, in the area for donations for the pool?
I'd like to talk about that just for a second, and this is just from some of the small business owners that I know personally. None of them will say it publicly, but they've said it to me in private conversation. They were literally tired of being asked and essentially what they felt coerced and pressured into donating to the pool. We got to understand, these people also pay taxes like the rest of us. And now we've got a private citizen that was going around, and which is all fine and dandy, because it was a good cause. I'm not saying it wasn't. But at the end of that summer, there were some businesses that were literally tired of being asked to donate money to the pool. And I understand, because just like the residents out here, it's not easy for these businesses to keep their doors open either.
So, on the flip side, if we don't do anything with it, and we don't put a levy on, and we close the pool for good, what are we gonna do with the building and the pool? We have to do something with it, we can't let it sit there. So you're in construction.
Yes, sir.
I'm in a little bit of it,
Mhm.
not as much as you, but it cost $500,000 plus.
I agree, a lot of money.
Maybe $750,000 to take that out. Where are we gonna get the money?
I think before you throw out some numbers, you might want to do a little checking into.
I've got that going on, but we couldn't get the numbers before.
Let me ask you this, Jim, because
But it's gonna cost a lot of money.
I was gonna say,
You're-
industry standard, $250,000 wouldn't surprise me.
you're talking, you're saying we have to.
We have to do something with it, we can't let it sit there. That would be irresponsible, I believe.
Well, that may very well be, but I think it falls back onto the argument that the law director was making and the liability issue, right? And I don't see that. I can't wrap my head around the difference, whether the pool's got water in it or if it's sitting there empty, if it being a different type of nuisance.
I doubt if our liability insurance would like that, though. I think they would not like to see that thing there without, nothing on it.
Oh, yeah, PEP would be very unhappy.
I mean, the pool they had over in Nevada, I think they left that in the ground for about 3 or 4 years, and they filled it in, tore it down and filled it. So that's what you're looking at. If it's unused for a year, it's gonna go downhill, it's gonna cost more to fix. So-
Which brings me to a question for the service director, maybe he knows this. How much water are we leaking? How much is that costing approximately?
Depends on the time of year.
Good point.
I don't have that information with me tonight.
Okay.
We can find that, give that to you, I just don't have it with me.
Because that's another thing too. If we're gonna keep this thing open, wouldn't it be prudent to fix it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where's that money come from?
It would have to be in that levy, including in that levy, the maintenance on it.
So it's in the levy, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd like to see a guarantee that this levy is going to cover maintenance and operation of the
Tommy
pool.
guarantees it, don't you, Tommy?
We have that on
What was that? I
record.
didn't hear it.
It's on record.
It's on record?
Yeah, move that over a little closer for
Are you sure you want to guarantee that?
I'm not sure of anything.
I think we need to.
I truly
to
think,
take it to
when Robert and I have
the whole
talked,
council.
I truly think that we should allow the voters one more chance.
Yeah.
In my opinion only. And I think it is good for the community to have a swimming pool also.
I agree with that sentiment there. It's not a bad thing to have.
Can the community get that guarantee that that's going to be enough to run the pool and maintain the pool? I take that as a no.
How can you guarantee that? I mean, it's well over our operating from last year. But
I just don't want to
we
see the
don't know
voters.
exact.
I don't want to see a vote for it and then it not be enough.
We'll have to keep it open if we get a levy on it.
We'll have to do what we got.
Then we'll be taking money out of other funds to operate the pool.
Which takes me back to my original point. We're going to potentially fund a luxury item while we struggle to fund necessities.
I just want enough information to get out to the public if it does go to a vote, put on the ballot.
Understand.
Okay, anybody got anything else to add? Administration? Come on up.
Go ahead.
You guys fight it out, all right?
Just the gentle.
Greg Wyatt, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. Okay, so my thing is this. The pool, under the former administration, not this administration, had some major issues, okay? They didn't go back against the bond of the company that repaired it to actually fix it correct, okay? Those are known facts,
We understand that.
okay? We know
That will
those are-
not happen when I'm law director.
No, you wasn't. I will agree with you. That's
I was gonna say,
I said
that kind of
former-
crap will not happen.
Former administration, I said. Okay? So the pool probably uses a whole bunch of money because it's leaking out. I would probably say in probably a couple 100,000, maybe 200, 300,000 gallons of water that thing's losing per year.
Yeah, nobody
Okay?
really knows.
And that does include what we're throwing away at the splash pad too.
Valid
Okay?
point.
So it's going to take money. But as you remember, Jim, and I think Terry does too, I came to council with a proposal to put a property tax on. It was a 1.25 mil levy. 1 mil for the pool, which basically back then, I don't know what it is this year yet, but Kaylee knows, I know this number, it was about $190,000 a year for the pool. And that was going to be sufficient enough to put the 40-some thousand dollars we need to fix the pool, the baby pool pumps, and all that stuff, pay for the lifeguards and everything else, and improve the concession stand and stuff. The other 0.25, I wanted to use for the park, All Miller Park, because I wanted to see a handicap autism spectrum playground with that money. And it also could have took money to fix the pickleball courts. 0.25%, which has been, help me out here, about $60,000, $70,000 a year.
I don't know off the top of my head, but sounds good.
I mean, okay, so a quarter of the other money, you divide it by 4, it's pretty easy. So about $60,000, $70,000 we could have had, and I wanted it as a property tax, okay? Then everybody pays fair. The other thing I wanted to do too in that was that the pool would be free. 100%, nobody had to pay for anything. Okay, that was my proposal, was to have the pool for free. Now, if somebody wanted to come out from that didn't pay property tax, we could sell them a pass cheap. I'm not talking about high $100, $200 pass, I'm talking about something was cheap. Because there is nothing for these kids to do in this town, okay? Now, one of the things that I've kind of looked at in the past and been trying to do a little research, and just bear with me for a minute, Mr. Ted.
I'm listening to you.
When the Teats Foundation donated we're down where the old Jeep place where PAR is currently, that was donated by the Teats Foundation to be turned into a rec center for the city of Bucyrus. Okay, years ago. And then it subsequently never panned out. It was turned into the city garage down there, and then it was subsequently sold. And then that money was used for the Irving Street garage, the old ODOT garage. So all that $300 and some odd $1,000, what I believe, I'm not factual truth yet, I'm looking for those numbers
Greg,
now.
I hate to tell you, buddy, but we're drifting again.
Yeah, I don't see the relevance.
No, but I'm saying,
I don't see the relevance.
so the thing is, we had money back then for
Let's try to stick to the
kids.
It's irrelevant.
But what I'm saying is, the pool thing, we need to maybe look at it one more time, okay? That's what I'm saying, but I think we ought to go with property tax and not income tax, because income tax, everybody outside the community and districts is going to be paying for it too. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Tommy, you want to run through the numbers? Or Jeff Dunn, he was next.
There
was no bond the last time. We had to sue the company, and they came to an agreement, just to correct that.
Thank you.
I misunderstood that.
Greg had stated that nobody pursued bond, going after the bond company. Jeff saying that they did come to an agreement and where we were.
But there's no bond company involved.
Okay, we were compensated.
Clarissa, you're there.
Clarissa Slater, 64504. So last cycle, I think there was some, to quote a former person, misinformation-ish things going around about the levy. I just to confirm, it's 0.065%. So to do it on your phone, you'd add 2 more zeros. So somebody who makes $100,000 would pay $65. The person a year. The average salary is $30,000, so you'd pay less than $20 a year for the pool. And that is, I think it's up to you guys which way you go with it. But one of the same arguments that I've heard made about not increasing property tax, I would agree with that sentiment. I think people who are younger, employed, they would be more like active families, like young kids. I think they would be the ones, working age individuals would be the ones utilizing that more. So I don't want to shift additional, what's the word I'm looking for? Costs, thank you, to elderly individuals who maybe aren't working and already on a fixed budget. I think that 0.065% is not hateful. I had seen people say that they thought they were going to be paying basically 10 times that amount because they weren't converting it, adding 2 zeros.
Right.
So I just wanted to clarify that. And I think, did you mention that it would be also for, we had discussions about it being free to people who were employed in the city of Bucyrus and also residents, correct?
Residents and people who pay taxpayers.
Right, right. Well, employed in Bucyrus, I was thinking like paying municipal taxes.
So, can I interrupt you just
Yeah.
a second? While we're on that point, because I had this conversation with Tommy and the mayor as far as the free, right? And I agree, you pay into the general fund and you're a resident, if it's a taxpayer funded item, it's free, right? But is that what we're saying, all residents and anybody that pays into the general fund, or just people that pay taxes, people with tax returns? What are we
Residents too,
saying?
right?
We can't exclude residents.
I agree, because we don't exclude them from the other services that we pay for. And as far as, now this is more a systematic issue I have with our system of governance. We're gonna have people vote yes for these levies, whether it be a property tax or a sales tax, that are never gonna pay for it. They don't own property, they don't work.
It's the game.
I get it, it's the
Yeah.
game, but it doesn't make it right.
Right, I don't disagree.
And it just reinforces my opposition to it.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to sway you. I agree with everybody saying, I think it should be the will of the voters. I just want to make sure they're getting the right information. Because, I mean, clearly it's very important to a large group of people. We saw how much people tried to raise money. I just would think it would be appropriate that the right information got out there to the residents. And on my last point about there is a crack, right? In it, current leak still?
They dye tested last
Fall.
and the police department helped out with that, and it was kind of disappointing what we found out. We didn't find a major leak.
We found small ones, but.
Small leaks is what we found. Yes.
So what's stopping us from emptying it, flex sealing the whole thing, and then painting it?
Flex seal, that's the answer.
Putting a liner on it?
You watch too much cable, man.
Late night infomercial.
So, I will say that someone I know used to work in pools, and the biggest thing that they say is that filling it every summer is important because it keeps the temperature of it down. So if we have an off season and then we decide to open it back up, those little cracks are going to become bigger cracks. Yeah, so that's the other thing to think about is like, right now, I don't want a short-term, personally, I would hate to see a short-term budget issue be a loss forever. Because like places like Nevada, they're not getting theirs back, you know?
Crestline too, right?
Crestline, right. And that was the other concern about it being free to everyone, is that we don't want the other, hate to say it, they're not paying for it, so we don't want the other municipalities just flooding it. But it's also kind of, I don't know if the police department agrees with this free babysitting. I hate to say it.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, it's keeping the kids off of the bikes and doing crazy crap around town, but.
I would like to say this, and I'm gonna get some backlash for this because it sounds very harsh. But in principle, I personally do not believe it's the responsibility of any government to entertain people's children. That's just my opinion.
It would be great if it was a private pool, but you gotta find somebody to.
Yeah, I
or to
agree,
buy
and
it.
it's a dilemma that we have to deal with.
Yeah. I just wanted to put it out there because I know that I had received a significant amount of backlash just stating the options, and I think that people aren't seeing that it's less than like a price of a large pizza now for the year.
I just
so.
think the best thing to do is get all the information we can out to the public
Right.
and get it on the ballot.
It left a bad taste in my mouth that last year it seemed like that information wasn't given, so I just wanted to kind of.
And we are in a time crunch, correct? Because this needs to
Correct.
be, this decision
It
needs to
will-
be made
Yes,
immediately.
it needs to be made tonight, and it has to be requested as an emergency to make the deadline to have it on the November ballot.
Okay, Tommy, you want to run through the numbers for us?
Yeah, I can.
You said November ballot.
Spring ballot, spring ballot.
First of all, we do fill this pool and keep it full, or not full, but up all year long, because otherwise it will float, and it will be more damage at that. So, at 65, or 0.065%, the levy would make around $201,683. There's 6,113 taxpayers. It's gonna be about $32.99 for that total amount of taxpayers. Average. And then,
Average $32 a year.
yeah, and $33. And then, like she said, at $100,000, the person would pay $65 a year.
How much did it cost to operate the pool?
98,000.
Yeah, I don't have the exact number,
That was
unfortunately.
chemicals and all, roughly?
Yes, I want to say it was between 94 to 98.
I didn't have that page either.
That's employees.
The one time I tried to rely on electronics and
Yeah.
leave my paper copy.
Did we run into
He's been
any,
gone for one meeting.
did we run into any issues as far as staffing it with lifeguards? Because I do remember when the YMCA took it over, that's one problem they had.
This year we did not. Last year we did have that.
Okay.
To where we didn't run into where we were closed down. We ran into where we didn't run the slide, or we had to limit the amount of people that were in the pool.
Okay.
But at that time it was donated swim days, and we had an excessive amount of people in the pool itself.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Anything else, Tommy?
No, I'm good.
Can I just add, just for clarification
Please.
for the public? Regardless if it was an income tax levy or a property tax levy, any funds would go directly to Fund 255, which is the pool fund, and it could not be spent anywhere else besides specifically the pool and pool-related
That was gonna be
activities.
my next question.
Can it be spent on parks?
No.
I did have a comment on that, and I think we've had this conversation when it went with the police levy for the vehicles. Like, it's appropriated out of the general fund, correct?
Yes, so typically what happens is we transfer money from the general fund to the pool fund for it to operate.
Okay, so the money went straight to there, that would leave additional funds in the general fund, right?
Yes, which we could use to fund another police officer or purchase safety forces material or something like that. It could go toward a new roof. You could,
Clarify that for me. So he's saying the levy's gonna generate roughly $200,000. We're saying that it's gonna cost roughly $100,000 to operate the pool. Are you saying that the remaining $100,000 could be spent within the general fund elsewhere?
no. So
Okay.
that 200,000 would, anything we wouldn't use towards operations, it would sit in that fund till we used
Okay,
it.
so what are we talking about here then?
What I'm saying is that, my point is, one thing I had a hard time learning, and Kaylee did a really good job walking me through it, is that whenever the general fund is basically like, I'm gonna use this last resort, but also the most flexible, right? So like the lines items that you have to pay towards certain things that come out of those first. But if there's overage, like there is with fire and police a lot, then it comes out of the general fund, right?
So so the general fund pays for our safety forces, pays for the operations. Quite a few of them are split out of City Hall between the enterprise funds because it does the services for water, utilities. But typically, the general fund predominantly funds safety forces. And I think Chris Mauritz will back me up. He's always good at that percentage. So the issue with one of the reasons the pool always gets cut first is because it's a lump sum of money. So if we feel the need to hire another employee that would predominantly be paid out of safety forces or general fund or something like that, that's a large item that's able to be cut. If we were able to pass a levy for the pool, it would go just to the pool, and then that money would stay in the pool fund and could only be used for that. But then any money in the general fund that would be originally it's not this year, but
Exactly, was my point. It's a moot point. There's no money appropriated or allocated towards the pool this year, so
Yeah.
this
This year,
whole
correct.
discussion is,
But if we wanted to run the pool in future years without using general fund money, that's where a levy would
Right.
help. That's
My whole thing is that if it costs, what did it cost last year? You said it was 98 for the water and everything, or that was just for employee?
That was the full operation of the pool, I believe.
Okay, so it would be like $100,000. If they open the pool again, it'd be $100,000 that could stay in that fund, but then it could address like the water leakage and all the stuff, the
Yes.
continuing improvement.
Mhm.
But are gonna be costly, I'm sure.
Yeah, so that could be, so for instance, if there was maintenance that needs to be done, kind of to what you were saying earlier, Ray, I thought about bringing this up, then, say if we get $200,000 yearly, I'm just guessing low. It costs, typically we budget 108,000 is what we budget. It's not what's actually used, but we budget. That leaves us, $92,000. If there was a catastrophe or major disaster, if we had to go out for a bond, if we had to do something like that, if a meteor hit the pool and we had to start from scratch, we could get out a loan and then that amount could cover that. So Tommy, when he wouldn't say, oh yes, for sure it would cover it, there are ways that it could cover it if we don't want to take on debt, but that would make a payment for something like that or for repairs if we couldn't pay it straight out of that yearly income.
So since the pool wasn't in the budget this year, if it's put on the ballot in May, is the pool opening this summer? And it's gonna sit empty this year?
It would
For
probably
sure.
have to sit empty this year because we wouldn't even start collecting income on that until
So we're
around
gonna
July,
have some maintenance
August.
involved this summer as far as keeping the pool filled.
how many years are we looking at for this levy? A single year, every
Four
year?
last time. That's your decision now.
I got you.
It was 4 last time.
Okay, thank you.
How low can you go?
You can go as low as you want. The discussion we had at the time was to make sure that you had enough years that if you do just one, you're continually fighting against, is it going to be renewed or not? You don't want to go 8-10 years in because you want to earn that, so 4 at the time that we discussed it felt like a fair number to prove yourself to the taxpayers that it was being used the right way for the right reasons. So that's.
Thank you.
I agree with Kevin. 4 is a good time for levies.
You have to deal with the levies, and is 4 years good for you?
Yeah, that's an amount I can budget with for sure.
You have a real problem with on your 2 or 3, correct?
Yes, because then you get into issues with planning and creating any kind of capital asset plan, or, I'm sure Dylan could speak to that. In fact, it gets difficult when you don't know where the funds are going to come from a couple years down the road, how you're going to address issues.
Ken Long, 625 South Spring Street. First, I'd like to thank Clarissa for bringing up the G word, the general fund. And then I would like to ask the auditor to start my presentation. How much is the general fund a year?
How much do we bring into the
Yes.
general fund? Let me
Okay,
see.
just a rough number works for me.
Typically, I can tell you income taxes last year, it was over gosh, sorry. Really wish I would have brought my paper.
No, it's fine. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I have a point to make based on that.
I believe it's over $3 million in income taxes. There are other revenues we get
Well,
in
the
the
general fund's bigger than 3 mil.
It's what? Almost 6 is the revenue in total? Okay. I was just giving you just the income
Oh,
tax
okay.
portion.
No,
Sorry.
no.
Yeah.
Just what all the money that comes in,
Mhm.
that's in this general fund pot, that's the number I'm approximately looking for. And
Right.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, because, you're not your desk and computer and all that. I want to make a point based on that
Right.
conversation now.
Give me a second.
All
Let
right,
me, I
thank you.
might be able,
All right, while she's giving me that, there was 2 years ago, I stood up here at the same time complaining about the pool. And the finance director at that time couldn't tell me how much he's working with, okay, which I thought that was pretty outrageous. And at that time, plus or minus, it was like $54 million. And so my comment then is exactly the same comment tonight. Out of whatever number she comes up with, we can't find $100 grand, because we're talking millions and millions of dollars. And all I'm looking for is $100 grand, so we don't have to beg every shop owner in town and all the citizens, number one. Number two, and here's the biggest point I want to make. There was a time, just a couple years ago, this isn't ancient history, this is from 1966 and all this crap I hear about, all this stuff that's wrong with us from 50 years ago. This just a couple years ago, we stroked that check for that pool out of the general fund. And you know who pays for that? We all do. It's taxpayer money. Okay, now what you're trying to do is let's pass a levy, okay? And let's just say it is for only 200 grand, okay? Well, all right, then I sit back and say, well, my taxes didn't go down, okay? My other taxes, they didn't go down, but yet I'm getting less service because the money that we used to spend for a pool every year, lickety-split, isn't there anymore. And I know the economy changes and we have different needs, and there's things that are lot more important, okay? But for a whole bunch of people, the pool's important too, okay? And that's just one thing. If we had to have 15 different social activities for the city, maybe we don't need to do that. But we're talking about one that used to come out of general fund, and now that money now we're trying to divert that to a levy, but then where's the money go that we used to get? That we used to give for this.
EPA.
And no matter, and how, do you take that general fund, and I have no idea how many line items there are or anything, but if you take, let's just say there's 20 of them, and that's $5,000 per fund in that general fund. To yank out of there, I can't believe that. That's like sticking my finger in a bucket of water and pulling it out. I don't think it makes any difference.
Can I, just to your point, that's essentially the same point I made in health and safety about extrapolating money from the general fund to fund the two police officers.
Exactly, it's the same thing.
And that's what I'm saying,
When I'm criticizing
Ken.
levies, I'm criticizing all levies, okay? Because our police department shouldn't have to have a bake sale to have trained people and equipment and cars and all that stuff. That's why we're spending the money we're spending. Okay. Now, because of inflation, it may have to change and all that. I'm smart to know that too. But there's all this levy stuff, and that's probably a reason why they don't pass very well. Okay, because people are thinking, like I am, like Jesus, I'm doing enough already. Now you're asking me for more. Okay. Okay.
So I found the number at the end of December 2025. The general fund's revenues were $5,797,370.61.
Okay. So it's okay. So say it's 6 mil.
Okay.
Once again, if you do a little quick math, I'm not going to do the math here, but $100,000 based on $6 million, that's pennies. That is pennies out of that fund. So, thank you.
So,
Ken, I'm looking at the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 25 employees, their pay in this city, and literally from $153,000 to $91,000. So you're looking at well over $2 million right there in just salaries. Now, not all of those are general fund, but a large majority of them
no, I know.
are general fund. And I think that's the dilemma we have, is we can't afford to pay the necessities, and we're having a conversation about funding a luxury.
Yeah, but so today it's gonna be the pool. Next week, it'll be the firefighters, the police, the other hourly workers. I mean, it never stops.
What do you mean?
And just like our rates for our water and sewer and all that, it's not even close with inflation. Okay, it's crazy numbers. And then also, when you made a good point early on tonight, when they're talking about, somebody is here in this room is talking about numbers and wanting more money, show me some facts. What does Rumpke charge us for trash? And how much did we spend? And how much are we behind? And how many bags of trash is that? And how many all this stuff. All this stuff. Every piece of this hits.
And that's to that point too, and I mentioned it earlier. It's why I'm hesitant to even ask the voters for more money. Water's going up, trash is going up, sewer's going up, cost of living is going to continue to rise. And it's why I'm so hesitant to even ask the citizens for more money for a luxury item when we aren't even going to ask them for more money for the necessities.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't feel like we're asking. I feel like let's let the public decide what the vote.
Part of being an attorney is getting your clients to think critically about things. And Kaylee can correct me if I'm wrong, but if we do the levy, then the money goes to Fund 55, and that's all it can be used for, is the pool. And then money that we've been budgeting for it would be able to be used for other things.
We aren't budgeting any money for it, Brandon. There's no money budgeted for the pool this year.
We can amend the budget, right? Next year, we can have a new budget. The point is, it frees up money in the general fund that could be used to, I don't know, hire a police officer.
I think we're extrapolating data we don't have because we don't know how much revenue we're bringing in 2027. So here we are saying, if we don't pass a levy, you're saying, well, now we could just fund the pool from the general fund. We can't even fund the pool from the general fund this year.
One last thing, just to close it out.
All right.
I think we can go back and forth if we want to or we don't want to. I personally don't use the pool. I have small kids, but I don't use them, but I think it's a positive thing for the community. I think everybody has to make that determination. You're right. We're having a hard time for the fundamentals or the basic necessities. We're telling the public, well, in my opinion, you're asking the public, how much does this mean to you? Do you want to keep it open? Do you want this resource? If your answer is no, vote no. If you think it's something you want to continue, here it is. I mean, and that's what it really comes down to. It's not really about, because it is a luxury, but do we deserve not to have nice things? Let them decide. That's what it comes down to.
Kayla, I got a question.
It's a valid point.
If we absolutely had to, could we have budgeted for the pool this year?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
I also think, just to piggyback, that vote was pretty close, right? You said it was within 100 votes, so I don't think we should be putting on the levy every time, but if it's close,
And we didn't
you don't
know-
have to be in support of the levy.
No, I understand.
tonight decide
No,
to put it
I
on there.
totally
All you're doing is
understand
putting
that.
the choice in there.
I totally understand that, but my position is principled.
Oh, one last thing.
Sure, Terry.
The price of the pool was for the whole summer. What would happen if you just open a pool for maybe 4 days a week and keep it closed maybe 3 days a week?
You still have to put the chemicals in it.
Yeah, but still, that would not cost you an operating as far as paying a salary and stuff like that.
You just get the salary cost all out of it, that's about it.
Cut your pool pass price in half.
Okay.
Chris?
I think the chemicals is a big thing.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, yeah.
Chris Mauritz, 226 Plymouth Street. If we are going to do this levy thing, if you guys decide to go there, let the people vote on it. We got to get the information out there. That's vital. What happened last time?
Didn't do it.
We didn't have enough time. Information never got out, and I think that's why it did fail last time. It didn't fail by much, but it failed because it's too quick. Didn't get anybody out there pushing it.
But to your point, Chris, we gotta show them the bad information, we gotta show them the good information.
All the information,
And let
yeah.
everybody decide which way they wanna go.
I think we should let them decide.
We can't
what
put
they
out
want.
just the all happy, goody-goody.
No, you can't. It's got to be all out there. Like I
Right,
said,
right.
I'm pretty sure when I was asked to run the numbers, when I was a part of that, it's about $200,000 or $200 1,000 gallons of water it uses every year just to keep that pool filled. If we don't, then it's gonna cost us that much money this year, gallon-wise, just to keep it to where, if we do run it next year, we gotta keep that amount of water in it, or just to keep it going.
To keep it from falling
Keep
into
it
worse
after, keep
disrepair.
it falling out, to cause any more damage from happening to it.
Correct.
That's not counting what's going down the drain with the splash pad.
Yeah, or the splash pad, right? There's nothing we can do about that right now,
Right.
until we get more jobs and more everything else in here, before we even think about looking at the splash pad. That's all I had on that.
Thank you.
Come on up, Rick.
Just real quick. So my thing is this, Greg Wyatt, 1125 Hillcrest Drive. I mean, if you're gonna sell this pool levy, if you wanna try to sell it, why not move the splash pad up into the pool area, if you can? Put it in the baby pool area, you know?
I'm sorry, are you suggesting?
One
that
thing at a
we-
time.
that we
But I know,
put
but
the
what I'm saying
pool
is,
in,
if you're going after a levy for services, okay, I'd also like to see it just not as a pool levy, but part of a parks type thing to actually improve All Miller Park at the same time.
We don't know if it's gonna pass, we don't.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is, my thing is this, if you're gonna do if you're gonna put another levy on, okay? My thing is, why not put it on to improve All Miller Park in general, so that it can be a park for everybody and not just a few?
One thing at a time, Greg.
I know, but I'm just saying, try to incorporate it in all of it, because according to this, you're gonna have $201,886 and some change. So we're gonna have 100,000 carryover, right?
There's gonna be maintenance.
Well, I mean, but still, $50,000 going to some project in the park would actually be nice to have. Like I said, I wanted to see an autism handicap area put into that park. But once again, there's no money on it, just like the pickleball courts. Mary even said that last year. There was no money. They had to get $16,000 in donations to actually fix those because they were
But
deteriorating.
once we get the pool fixed, we can look at that autism splash park that you're talking about, because that money's gotta go to the pool, correct? Pool only.
Pool only. So this is where I understand where Greg's coming from, because I had some questions about, right now the pool's operated separately than the splash pad. Kiwanis runs that. If we were looking at fixing the system underneath the splash pad, was that something that would need to be incorporated? Because right now that's classified under park, not pool. So we could not use the money for this pool levy to correct or fix the splash pad.
I wanna fix the pool first.
And that's totally up to you guys. I was just
Okay.
Yeah,
giving
that's
you
more
information.
information that the public needs to know.
So what's being suggested then, if I'm understanding this right, is to reclassify the splash pad as part of the pool. That way it could be covered with the same funds from that same levy.
Any money left over.
Well, hold on.
Legal guy.
We don't own.
We
the
don't
splash
own
pad.
Ray, kick him.
Okay.
He's not paying attention.
Well, if we don't own it, that changes the conversation.
Ken Long, 625 South Spring
It
Street.
was important for city business. What's going
We've
on?
had this, I've heard this conversation about the Kiwanis for a couple of years now, about the splash pad, and most of it's not been good. So
Okay.
what part of the Kiwanis is maintaining that splash pad if it's not being?
This is a swimming pool we're talking about.
Trying to stay on topic.
Okay, all right. I'll be back. Thank
Be
you.
here all night. We don't.
So, what was the question I had?
Yeah, what was the question?
If you could
I was-
spend money on the splash.
No, if
pad.
we could change the
Legislation.
classification of
Be
what,
able to spend money on the
they're
splash
saying
pad.
we don't own it.
The splash pad?
Yes.
We don't.
So we can't do anything with
But if
it.
we get it donated, we can.
We own the splash pad, so we own the property, but I believe there's a maintenance agreement with Kiwanis because they're the ones who purchased the above-ground items, that they're the ones that maintenance and take care of
Isn't that
that.
set for a certain number of years and then we take it over?
That I
I don't
Forever?
remember
On my
seeing.
GIS for the splash pad, you get on there, and look at GIS, the agreement should be on there. I just don't have it tonight.
So are we of the opinion over here that that can't be reclassified as part of the pool?
We can talk to Kiwanis about it and
Okay.
reclassify it.
Okay.
We ain't gonna have to worry about it if this levy doesn't pass. So,
Gotcha,
I'm gonna
gotcha.
ask for a motion.
I'm on a request, I'd like to make a motion, we request legislation for the pool levy for the whole council. And pass as emergency.
As an
We're
emergency.
asking for legislation as an emergency.
To put the pool levy on the ballot, and has to be May.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Public participation before I call a vote.
Are you gonna vote, are you doing the same one?
Yeah, but I haven't heard from him.
You need to clarify your motion to tell Brandon what percentage, so the .065. You also need to tell him for the length of time that you'd like to have it, whether it's 4, or whatever you guys want to come up with. And to Mr. White's point, you guys can change the wording to say for the pool and other things at the park if you so choose to. You're not, just because
that's
we
what
did
I
it
was
the last
trying to
time,
get
just
at.
as the pool, you have that power right now to make it whatever you want. I think your thought is, what do the voters want? Would that help hurt? I don't know. But you have that power right now in your motion to make it what you want it to be.
Okay, your motion is .65, correct?
Yes.
0.65.
.065.
That's what I said.
For
Second.
for 4 years.
4 years.
We're ready to run now. How many pickleball courts you want?
There's that new roof.
And I will second that.
For 4 years, and then also, .65, .065 is not gonna give much money to everything else, I don't think.
Well, it's only for 4 years, so.
Yeah, okay.
But you want that just for the swimming pool?
Yep,
Just for the swimming pool?
Just for the swimming pool, I will second that.
yep,
Ray was second that. Terry?
yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Bob?
No.
And I'm a yes.
Passes.
Motion passes.
Before we adjourn, can we go into a recess for
We're
something?
not going to adjourn, we got a whole list. of
Yeah, we
crap.
still got
Yeah.
4 other
Something-
things.
Okay, we got a whole list?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Kevin, can I ask you something?
Let's go.
All right, so that motion
As
passed.
an emergency.
And that will head, yes, he did
As
say,
an
he
emergency,
said
I
that.
said that, yes.
I just make sure I get it right down.
Oh, we're not ready.
Oh, Bonnie? Bonnie?
We're still going. You're
Can we have a recess, please? Thank you. To the WPCLF funding, Tommy has some info.
Dylan
Need
does.
emergency legislation. It is due February 2nd, deadline, submitted to the EPA. Legislation is to authorize the Director of Safety Services Director to complete and submit the WPCLF grant. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so WPCLF loan. So this is a submittal for a loan. As I said in Service Committee in August, we nominated the Sandusky Avenue project. It qualified as a 30-year, 3.41% interest loan. We're still working through it. There may be a reduction because the city is a prior borrower through WPCLF. There could be a reduction, but we'll have to work through that as we go. So as it's planned right now in the budget, I believe that this project is set for a maximum borrow from WPCLF of $4.5 million. That number is intentionally high right now because it had to be nominated in August and we were still kind of early in the design process. So I think that that's a really conservative number, but either way, this legislation that we're asking for as an emergency tonight is just to apply for the loan, to go through the formal loan application process, and then I will be back up here again once that process has all taken place before we advertise for bids. So the final estimated construction cost, the not to exceed number that would go into the legislation, will be at a later date, once we get all of our reviews through EPA done.
So we just need legislation for Tommy to apply for the grant.
Yep, and there's no dollar amount listed in this legislation. That doesn't come along until later.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Let Tommy go out for this loan?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. As an emergency.
As an emergency, correct.
Yes.
Emergency. Gary?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Passes. Tommy, you have permission. All right, next thing. Enterprise fund. Kaylee.
So, yesterday I had spoke to our auditors and they requested a seat for right away, so I didn't get to it yesterday. Today, a public record request came in spanning multiple years, so I steered in that direction, and then I didn't want to rush this and have anything wrong. So if we could, again, I apologize, table this till next committee meeting.
Gotcha.
When's this have to be in by, Kaylee?
Enterprise funds by the end of the year, but we typically, it's one of the first
Yeah, that's what I thought.
ordinances we pass.
Yeah, okay. I make a motion, we table it for now.
I agree.
I'll
You
second
agree?
that motion.
Everybody agrees?
Aye. Yep.
We don't have to. do that.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I know we
Okay.
don't.
Next on the list is manpower. Health and safety, I've already discussed this. So
Yes. And we decided that I'm going to have a conversation with the chiefs and
Give us more
the
information.
finance and the auditor, and yes.
All right.
So we'll table that.
We have financial reports on here, and this is where Kaylee explains to us how to look at and read the financial reports and see. We're gonna do that next meeting, since it is 9 o'clock. So we're just gonna table that for now, is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. Open projects. If I can find them. Anybody want to talk about anything that's on open projects right now? You want to take anything off of open
No,
projects?
we table all that, didn't
See, the income tax levy for all Miller Pool is on there.
Income tax.
We can keep it on because we're talking about it now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we have to keep it on, keep everything on until it passes, and then once it passes or fails, full council, then we can take it off.
Well, I guess because it was mentioned earlier, and I apologize for anyone who's in a hurry to get out of here, but annexation of the Crawford County Recycling Center, how difficult of an uphill fight is that? I mean, your opinion, Brandon?
Well, define uphill.
Well, how much pushback and,
So it's essentially, we had
Are
two
you-
county commissioners that outright lied to us.
I'm shocked.
So I want to get that out there.
They said when it was being built that they would annex.
Okay.
Can we
That's the way I understood it.
table this for
Well-
another meeting?
Well, it's on, yeah, absolutely. I was
Okay.
just- Yep, sure.
Yeah.
Because I run my mouth when I shouldn't.
Oh, I
That's
agree.
okay.
I did too.
True, if it's true, it's true.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we done with?
Yeah, that's all I saw on here. And
Public
I,
participation. Greg, you hurt my feelings.
you're speechless?
I thought he went home.
Oh, God.
Hey,
No, I appreciate the openness.
I thought you might like the new format.
I like it. Taylor's impressive. I like it.
I don't hear that much.
That's impressive. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, sir.
9:04.